Chapter 1441. Chen Shang was currently trying to break through a bottleneck. He had not yet become an immortal king, but was only at the peak of the later stages of immortal monarch. He could only break through when he was cultivating 5 times more than others, so during this period, many geniuses could only break through to the immortal king stage because of the abundant resources provided, and even if he had holy elixir and divine arts, it would still be very difficult for him to break through due to his special cultivation method. However, it was very rare for him to have 5 times the strength of others. His dantian was still the same as it always was, covered in a layer of grey mist, and it was difficult to see through his dantian, and the 5 translucent beast statues inside. The originally heavenly pellets contained sacred energy. His heavenly pellets had already been formed, and they had all transformed into very small and exquisite beast statues. As long as you become an immortal king, the innate chi in your body will basically be able to complete its transformation and become sacred energy. However, in the future, you only need to fuse your holy energy with the divine power in the divine sense C, strengthening it into an even more powerful form, and will be able to unceasingly break through. Long Shui said. While Chen Shang cultivated, he also cultivated his own divine soul. In the area of alchemy, he was already able to refine Tier 1 immortal pills and become a Dan immortal. The sacred animal Dan that Long Shui ate right now were all Tier 1 immortal pills. Although Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu were heavily injured and didn't have their original strength anymore, with Long Shui's help, they had slowly strengthened their divine soul and also used the Holy Spirit Rabbit's blood to strengthen their bodies. If Chen Shang was able to refine a holy pellet to help her recover in the future, their strength would definitely have a huge breakthrough. Didn't know anything about Lu Meng'er. Previously, he thought that Lu Meng'er's parents had very strong powers behind them, so he wouldn't let Lu Meng'er marry the Heaven Sword City. But now that the Divine Artisan Mountain Villa had facilitated the marriage, if he knew about it, he definitely couldn't stay here and cultivate in peace. Right now, it was the key to Chen Zhang's breakthrough, and Long Shui had always been paying attention to him. Suddenly, Long Shui heard a burst of "gur-gur" sounds come out of Chen Zhang's body. It was as clear as firecrackers, which continuously sounded out. Is he about to become an immortal king? After becoming an immortal king, I wonder how powerful he'll be. Long Shui smiled slightly and said, "Looks like my bones are starting to change. Signs of me mastering body of heavenly sage, that holy elixir really is a good thing." Originally, she had only predicted that Chen Zhang's body of heavenly sage would reach the middle or high levels, but this had already happened 10 years ago. Large success of his body of heavenly sage, he should be able to transform into a golden bone. I wonder what stage his jade bone is going to reach. Su Meiyao came over to Long Shui's side. Jade bones are just like the Dan Emperor. They will still need a period of time before he can complete the 9th cycle of the sacred transformation. Long Shui said, "It's very easy for you guys to cultivate your bodies, you just need to use the jade rabbit blood, but you can't use it. If he wants to refine the jade bone, he must torture himself." Chen Zhang's body emitted waves after waves of golden light, and his skin seemed to be covered with a layer of gold foil. At the current stage, there was already no power of giving, and everyone was the same. At this level, it would be even harder to obtain great power, and one would need to rely on large amounts of medicinal pellets. When he becomes an immortal king, everything changes very quickly. He should wake up soon. Su Meiyao said. Sure enough, after she said that, Chen Shang opened his eyes. He was currently very calm in his heart, and every time he broke through in the past, he would be extremely happy, excited by the immense power he had just obtained. The power he gained from breaking through this time was even stronger. However, he knew that in the 9 heavens, there were many people stronger than him. With his current strength, he could not be considered to be much. I've finally become an immortal king. Chen Shang only clenched his fists, and felt the power of the immortal king. The power of the immortal king gave him a sense of kingship. Look at the bottom of the box. Long Shui said. This was something that Chen Shang had known about before. And all these years, when he had touched these spirit grain every day, he had already memorized every single one of them. Only the spirit grain, nothing. Chen Shang said, but he was not disappointed, because the holy elixir had brought him great benefits. Hold on, he carefully looked at those spirit grain, and suddenly discovered that there were a few very, very small ancient characters inside one of the tiny lines. Right now, his eyesight was extremely terrifying. Even if it was a speck of dust, it could still be enlarged like a pellet in his eyes. What's written on it? Does it have anything to do with these spirit grain? Long Shui asked anxiously. Gate of the Qingyun realm. Chen Shang muttered. Using the spirit grain S to set up the array, it will form the transmission array to enter the heavenly evil realm. I will be there. What is the realm of flame heaven? Chen Shang said in shock. Evil Emperor is actually there. After Long Shui heard it, he frowned. It was clear that he knew something. Shui, I've heard about the matters of the heavenly realm before. It's said that the various powers required to form the 9 heavens dictum all come from within the endless heaven realm. My little master said so. Su Meiyao said. I remember my master saying that the endless heaven realm is very scary, but many experts will go. Bai Yuyu continued. Long Shui nodded. Endless heaven realm. It is indeed very frightening. The powers that make up the 9 heaven world all come from within the various heaven realms. Quote. Originally, the 9 heaven world did not exist, but tens of thousands of realms leaked all kinds of energy, and after that, the energy gathered together, continuously merging and compressing themselves. Finally, the point exploded, forming this 9 heaven world. In the end, when these creatures reach a high point, they will be taken over by the heavenly realm. As for why they're going there, I'm not sure either. In short, Endless Heaven Realm had tried to control the entire operation of the 9 heaven world many times, but to no avail. Chen Shang put away the jade chest and said, looks like 9 heaven world isn't that simple. The matter regarding 10 heavens Supreme Lord back then, might have something to do with this endless heaven realm. Leave quickly. I wonder what has happened to those guys who obtained the things here in the past. Long Shui said. Chen Shang came to the corner, activated the transmission array and teleported to the outside, which was the Evil Dragon Mountain range. Evil Divine Palace was still here, but he was hiding in a space high above in the sky. If he wanted to come again, he could go through it using the power of the spatial laws. Right now, he was still in Long Tian's presence. As soon as he came out, he immediately rushed to the Golden Dragon Immortal Palace to inquire about what had happened in the past few years, to see if there was anything worth his attention. Chapter 1442. After Chen Shang arrived at the Golden Dragon Immortal Palace, he immediately found out about Lu Menger's situation. After knowing that Lu Menger was going to marry Luo Yitao, he did not have any other intentions to ask about anything else. All he wanted to do was to kill his way to the Heaven Sword City and destroy the entire Heaven Sword City. That bastard Luo Yitao. Chen Shang thought back to when he was captured by those strong warriors, and how Luo Yitao had dealt with him, and made him extremely angry. At that time, he swore that if he had enough power, he would destroy Heaven Sword City first. He didn't know what actions Huang Jintian and the others were taking, nor did he know why the Divine Artisan Mountain Villa handed Lu Menger over. He also didn't want to know either. As far as he was concerned, the most pressing matter at hand right now was to eliminate the Heaven Sword City. There's still one more day. Fortunately, I came out quickly. Chen Shang stepped into the transmission array, and came to the Human King Immortal country. As soon as he arrived here, he saw many eye-catching places with messy records. They were all left to him by Huang Jintian, and he had followed those records to find a message jade token, only that he wasn't able to contact Huang Jintian. Why does Divine Artisan Mountain Villa have to be placed under house arrest? Could it be that they have steeled their hearts to marry that Luo Yitao? This has nothing to do with them. No matter what, it is her parents' fault. Chen Shang had heard some information from them. He had contact with Lu Zongyu and Song Ying and knew that the couple was considered enlightened. Although they had set up a marriage agreement with Lu Menger back then, they now knew that Lu Menger did not like him at all, and after knowing his character, they would definitely not push him into a pit of fire. But now, this matter was under the control of the Divine Artisan Mountain Villa. Divine Artisan Mountain Villa, I'll go and save Elder Sister Menger now. Chen Shang immediately stood up and headed towards the Divine Artisan Mountain Villa. This Divine Artisan Mountain Villa was right there, and Chen Shang had already understood that more than half of the Human King Immortal country were controlled by the Divine Artisan Mountain Villa. Human King Wu Kanghong was just a puppet. If he did not listen, there would be a lot of trouble. Outside Divine Artisan Mountain Villa, Chen Shang was waiting for some important figures to come out. He was already an Immortal King, and although they were only early-stage Immortal Kings, if an Immortal King of the same level were to meet him, it would only take a single look from him to get rid of them. The Divine Artisan Mountain Villa was built in the wilderness. The entire villa was very huge, and there should be a lot of people there. Moreover, their security was very tight right now, and the formation to protect the entire villa was even more powerful. The array spirit grain they used was passed down from a divine craftsman in the past. Chen Shang was extremely tight on time. He had waited for more than an hour, but even then, he still did not see an immortal king, so he could only take action against an immortal monarch. He knocked the immortal monarch out, then used the soul-absorbing devil spell to search the immortal monarch's memories. After understanding some things about the divine artisan mountain villa, he turned into the immortal monarch and swaggered into the divine artisan mountain villa. The immortal monarch looked to be a middle-aged man called Zhang Tong. From the memories that Chen Shang had searched, he knew that Zhang Tong was not the core member of the divine artisan mountain villa, but he knew where Lu Meng'er was being placed under house arrest. Lu Meng'er was placed under house arrest in a mountain in the divine artisan mountain villa. There was a cave in that mountain, and Zhang Tong was involved in the construction of it. Chen Shang activated Heaven Tour and floated high up in the sky. He quickly found the mountain, which was located in the east of the center area of the villa. It seems like only the immortal king can enter that area. Just now, Chen Shang was outside the divine artisan mountain villa. He knew that those great formations would be extremely difficult to break through, even if he used the power of the ancient code. Divine Artisan Mountain Villa was like a small city. There were many houses. Although he met many people along the way, they were not very strong. He just wanted to find an immortal king to impersonate them, that way he could enter the. Chen Shang arrived outside that area and finally met an old immortal king walking out. According to Zhang Tong's memories, this immortal king was called Wang Rong, and 2 years ago, he was still an immortal monarch. Because he had become an immortal king, he was immediately recognized by the Divine Artisan Mountain Villa and was able to enter the core region. Chen Shang followed behind Wang Rong, but Wang Rong only glanced at him once, and then walked away. There were so many people in this place, it was normal to have people following him. However, after Wang Rong walked for a distance, he realized that there was something wrong with the people behind him. However, at this time, his sea of consciousness was attacked and he fainted. Chen Shang had cultivated in seclusion for 100 years, and had put a lot of thought into the heaven-earth killing method, which made his mental attacks even stronger. The moment Wang Rong fainted, Chen Shang immediately used his transformation technique to produce Wang Rong, and he placed the real Wang Rong into the square cauldron. Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, he completed this move. His speed was so fast that in the eyes of the crowd, Wang Rong almost fell over and did not see what Chen Shang did. As he grew stronger, Chen Zhang's skill in changing techniques became more profound. After searching Wang Rong's memories, he walked towards the central region. It was as if he needed to enter a city, and enter through a huge gate. After verifying his identity, Chen Shang successfully entered the core region and immediately ran towards the cave that was locked down by Lu Meng'er. There are so few experts in the Divine Artisan Mountain Villa, even Wang Rong is confused. He doesn't know why there are so many experts missing either. It seems like he still cannot come into contact with the real core of the secret. As Chen Shang walked along the road in the center of the city, he realized that there were very few immortal kings around. If it was his first time in here, it would have been fine. However, Wang Rong, who had stayed here for 2 years, also felt that it was strange. Furthermore, this was within a few days' time. Chen Shang had a bad premonition. He anxiously rushed towards the cave. There was no one guarding the cave, so he easily entered, but there was no one inside, leaving only the faint fragrance on Lu Meng'er's body. Damn it, they should have left long ago. What is it exactly for Divine Artisan Mountain Villa to be so secretive, that it is worth it for them to do so? Chen Shang sat on the bed that Lu Meng'er had slept on and thought about this problem. Suzaku Divine Weapon, Suzaku Silk, this should be worth it for Divine Artisan Mountain Villa to make such sacrifices, right? Lu Meng'er's Suzaku Silk can be used. Her parents definitely know about it, and her parents might have even told the people inside the Divine Artisan Mountain Villa about it. Su Meiyao sighed. Bai Yuyu laughed coldly. They must have thought of ways to take the Suzaku Silk from Lu Meng'er, but they are unable to do so. Then, they must have told Heaven Sword City that she has a Suzaku Silk on her body, and this way, they can use Lu Meng'er to exchange her for many precious things. It must be known that the Heaven Sword City is extremely rich right now, and also inherited from the evil emperor. There's still time. They definitely won't change the time of their wedding because they have invited many great powers. Right now, they are only secretly heading to Heaven Sword City. Long Shui said. Chen Shang laughed sinisterly. Divine Artisan Mountain Villa, today I will let you all have a taste of how powerful the legacy of your Divine Artisan Grandmaster is. He took out the hammer of God, as well as the divine cauldron that sealed the profound Yang fire crow. Chapter 1443. Chen Shang quickly walked out of the cave. It was extremely quiet in the Divine Artisan Mountain Villa, especially in the center area. There were very few people here. Although this was the core region of the Divine Artisan Mountain Villa, there were not many people here right now. Chen Shang suspected that those rankers went to the Heaven Sword City. Although on the surface they looked like they were going to drink wedding wine, they were actually going to make a trade and use Lu Meng'er to exchange for the valuable items left behind in the evil emperor. The fewer people, the better. Chen Shang flew into the air, causing the divine hall to become as big as a huge mountain, and fiercely smash into the small mountain that imprisoned Lu Meng'er. With a thunderous boom, the heavy divine cauldron released a force that pressed down fiercely and crushed the small mountain into pieces. The rocks that flew out were like a raging tide as they completely destroyed some of the houses in the surroundings. Boom! Chen Shang controlled the divine cauldron and it once again smashed onto the ground. The ground violently shook and cracked, releasing a violent earthquake, causing the ground to rise and fall, and a large portion of the houses to collapse. Chen Shang had already heard the angry shouts of many people. The Divine Artisan Mountain Villa had an extremely strong defense against the outside world, but if the inside of the body was damaged, he would have no way of resisting it. At this moment, the people outside the Divine Artisan Mountain Villa were all able to see a three-legged cauldron that was like a giant mountain floating in the air, and then fiercely falling to the ground. There was a profound Yang fire crow sealed inside the divine furnace, and now, Chen Shang was releasing all of the hot air inside it. The heat wave spread out in all directions and set off bursts of fire. In the blink of an eye, the center area of the Divine Artisan Mountain Villa turned into a sea of fire. Before the immortal kings guarding this place could recover, more than half of it was destroyed. Our Divine Artisan Mountain Villa has always been at peace with the world. One of the immortal kings roared angrily, flying towards that enormous divine cauldron. The more he looked at the divine cauldron, the more it looked familiar. When he recognized it, his entire body shivered and he shouted out in shock. This is the divine cauldron of the divine craftsman ancestor, and it even has a lid. Isn't this divine furnace in Chen Zhang's hands? Scram far away from me, who would believe that you two are not fighting in this world? Chen Shang bellowed, controlling the gigantic divine cauldron, pressuring the group of experts that was rushing over. Quick, dodge! Sensing the terrifying heat emitted from the divine cauldron, the immortal kings were all terrified, and they immediately dodged away. The fire raged and surged towards all four directions, the ground was burned into lava, all the houses were burnt down, all the immortal kings were floating in the air, staring angrily at the gigantic divine cauldron that was bombarding the entire central region. Where's Lu Meng'er? Chen Shang only used a moment to destroy the entire central area, but not a single expert came out to stop him, which made him slightly surprised. He did not believe that the Divine Artisan Mountain Villa did not have an expert like Duan Ming, who had not made a move yet, must have gone to the Heaven Sword City. Could it be that the things that the Heaven Sword City had given them were really so important to let those strong warriors go all out? You really are here to save her. She has already gone to the Heaven Sword City. Previously, when Shui Shenxian escaped from this place, they expected that Shui Shenxian would come find them, but now, it was as they expected. However, who would have known that Chen Shang would appear here for no reason? If they relied on those big arrays, even an expert like Duan Ming would find it difficult to break through in a short period of time. Her marriage is not something that your Divine Artisan Mountain Villa can meddle in, right? Since all of you are being nosy, then I must intervene for once. Chen Shang sneered, and rushed forward with the divine hammer. He's coming over. Disperse quickly. Don't take him head on. This guy's strength is extremely terrifying. A stronger immortal king shouted. Chen Shang had the green dragon demon slain broadsword in his hands, and now that he had the strength of an immortal king, even a late-stage immortal king would not dare to fight him head-on. Everyone only saw Chen Shang rushing over, but in the next moment, he appeared beside them. He threw out the small divine cauldron in his hands. The divine cauldron flew out from his hands, and in the blink of an eye, it became like a small mountain as it charged towards the group of immortal kings. In just a split second, the rampaging divine cauldron had already caused the group of immortal kings to cough up blood. Chen Shang, our Divine Artisan Mountain Villa has always kept to himself. Furthermore, Wu Kanghong of the Human King Immortal Country has always wanted to befriend you. If you continue, you will definitely become sworn enemies with us. The old immortal king avoided the impact of the divine furnace, but he was still scalded by the heat exuding from the divine furnace. It looks like you are the ones who forced her to marry to the Heaven Sword City. Don't think that I don't know that you are using Lu Meng'er to exchange for some important things. Lu Meng'er is my wife's master. Chen Zhang's cold voice was filled with killing intent. He appeared in front of one of the Immortal Kings in a flash, waved the godly hammer in his hand, and smashed it onto the Immortal King's head. Seeing how strong Chen Shang was, the Immortal King had already lost his will to retaliate. He raised his sword to block, but who would have known that Chen Zhang's divine hammer was extremely terrifying? When his immortal sword was smashed by the divine hammer, it instantly shattered, and he was even sent flying by the divine hammer's force. Chen Shang, we escorted Lu Meng'er to the Heaven Sword City in advance. We also sent a group of experts there, causing the defense here to be weak. Do you know the reason? The old Immortal King was still relatively calm. He knew that he shouldn't fight with Chen Shang head-on. Chen Shang did not question them, but rushed towards the Immortal King Immortal Monarchs who were fleeing in all directions, raised the divine hammer in his hands, and smashed one by one into the sea of fire on the ground. Because we knew that someone was stopping us on the way to save Lu Meng'er, and in order to catch them all, we sent out many experts. If I am not mistaken, the Long family would definitely go, along with your master and the others. The old Immortal King said angrily. Hearing that, Chen Zhang's face changed. The old Immortal King saw this and was happy, but when he saw Chen Shang take out the green dragon demon-slain broadsword, the previously calm him suddenly became anxious. Thanks for the reminder, I'll be right over. After Chen Shang finished speaking, he threw the green dragon demon-slain broadsword high into the sky. A wave of cyan light, accompanied by the earth-shaking dragon's roar, rumbled through the sky. The green light disappeared, and the green dragon demon-slain broadsword became extremely huge, over 100,000 meters long. The tip of the blade was pointed at the ground, and cut straight down. Roar! The divine blade fell to the ground without a blade hilt, revealing a blade hilt that was as tall as a mountain. The entire divine artisan mountain villa was currently shaking violently, and waves of oppressive dragon roars came from deep underground. It was as if the gigantic divine artisan mountain villa of a city had suddenly cracked open amidst the roars of tens of thousands of dragons, forming countless deep, bottomless crevices. Waves of murderous intent rose from the depths of the earth, like a dragon's roar, and soared high into the sky. With just a single slash, the entire divine artisan mountain villa was torn into several pieces. The foundations of many large formations were destroyed, and violent energies continuously surged out from within the cracks. Chapter 1444. The Immortal Kings were all shocked. This divine artisan mountain villa had many powerful formations of various sizes, with a history of many years, and they would maintain it meticulously every year. However, it had been destroyed by the green dragon demon-slain broadsword that Chen Shang casually threw out. To divine artisan mountain villa, this was a calamity. Chen Shang had already disappeared. He was rushing to the Heaven Sword City, and just now he did not use his true strength. It was only the power of his flesh. If he used his holy energy, the entire divine artisan mountain villa would have turned to dust. The Heaven Sword City was located on top of a mountain. It was huge, almost like a city floating in the sky, filled with dense immortal chi. Once Chen Shang arrived, he immediately knew that a huge battle had broken out here, and on top of that, it was at the transmitting squares of the city. That was more than 2 hours ago, and now that the transmission array had been repaired, the efficiency of the Heaven Sword City was extremely high. However, when Chen Shang teleported here, he was still able to see that the entire plaza was in ruins. After asking around, he found out that it was the divine artisan mountain villa that brought Lu Meng'er here, and a large group of experts surrounded them. In order to prevent the battle from spreading to the entire city, the great array formation of the transmitting square was immediately activated. It was obvious that it was already prepared. However, the result made Chen Shang feel very disappointed, because that group of people still hadn't snatched Lu Meng'er away, and since the Fire Divine Palace and the others were all here, they fell for it. Who would have thought that Devil Suppressing Divine Palace and Fire Divine Palace were also involved in this matter? Chen Shang clenched his fists and asked Long Shui to look for the person who was hiding here. Because the transmission array was destroyed at that time, Long Huishan and the rest must have only escaped. They were still hiding in the city, and now the people from the Heaven Sword City are looking for the whereabouts of those people. Shui Shenxian and Leng Yulin had both appeared, because they were Lu Meng'er's disciples. What made Chen Shang even more surprised was that Huang Jintian, Ji Yudongchen and Wu Kaming were all present, and even Yun Xiaodao and the other little ghosts were participating in the battle. Although Lu Meng'er was not taken away, the Heaven Sword City and Divine Artisan Mountain Villa had suffered heavy losses. This was because Duan Ming had also come, so with Duan Ming here, both Heaven Sword City and Divine Artisan Mountain Villa felt a certain amount of pressure. Found it, they're hiding in the cave at the bottom of the mountain. Long Shui said. Lu Menger's big wedding was tomorrow, so there was still some time left. Right now, Chen Shang had to go and take a look at Long Huishan and the others' situation. Chen Shang was very grateful that they were able to come. He had concocted many healing pills in the past few years, so he should be able to help them. Chen Shang quickly found the cave they were hiding in. They were extremely vigilant, sensing that someone was approaching. Sensing that the auras on their bodies were not weak, Chen Shang secretly heaved a sigh of relief, which meant that their lives were not in danger. It's me. Chen Shang used his powerful god power to penetrate their formation, and his voice reached everyone's minds. The concealment of the cave entrance immediately disappeared, and Shui Shenxian and Shui Shenxian, who came out first, became teary the moment they saw that it was really Chen Shang, because they had already tried their best to save Lu Menger, but they did not succeed. Let's go in first. Chen Shang rubbed their heads as he watched them walk out. Everyone sat on the ground. There weren't many people inside, other than Chen Zhang's friends. Long Huishan had also brought 10 experts from the Long family, which was considered very large in the 9 heavens. Damn brat, we thought you had died. Long Huishan placed his hammer on Chen Zhang's chest, but a smile still appeared on his face, but he helplessly sighed, what's left is up to you. We were almost unable to take Lu Menger away even after losing our lives. Those fellows had already predicted that we would come, and would join forces to ambush us. If it wasn't for Senior Duan, we might have been captured alive. Shui Shenxian looked at Duan Ming gratefully. Duan Ming was indeed strong. Even though he was surrounded by a few experts with strength equivalent to his, he was still able to help them escape. Huang Jintian said, Brat, where have you been in these past 100 years? Could it be that you have been sealed within the evil divine palace by those fellows? In these past 100 years, Chen Shang had not changed at all. He still looked the same as before, and did not feel that he had become stronger. Only Huang Jintian, Duan Ming and the old ice dragon could see anything. It's a long story. Chen Shang heaved a long sigh. He saw that the rest of them had also become very strong, and felt pleased in his heart. They were just slightly injured, and the seriously injured ones had all taken immortal pills. Hua Shangyu said, Menger is currently in Heaven Sword City, what do you plan to do? It will be difficult to get into that place. Just like the Divine Artisan Mountain Villa, back then it was difficult even for me to enter the outskirts of the Divine Artisan Mountain Villa. Huang Jintian shook his head. I need to hurry up and think of a way, if not it will be too late, and tomorrow will be my wedding day. Shui Shenxian thought about how Lu Menger was going to marry Luo Yitao tomorrow, and said with some distress, the great formations of the Divine Artisan Mountain Villa are all made up of holy level formations, and there are a total of 79 of them combined. Especially in the central region, which is the hardest to enter, and the defenses of the Heaven Sword City seem to have been reinforced by the Divine Artisan Mountain Villa as well. Chen Shang caressed her face and laughed. Divine Artisan Mountain Villa has already been destroyed by me. After I found out about it, I immediately rushed to Divine Artisan Mountain Villa. I never thought that Menger wasn't in there, and there weren't any other powerful fellows. Elder brother Shen, are you joking? Senior Duan already said that Divine Artisan Mountain Villa is very aggressive. Yun Xiaodao doubted. Why don't you go take a look now? Chen Shang laughed. Who said that if we want to break through, we just have to sneak in? These arrays are normally just for defense on the outside, but if we are messing around inside, it's impossible to defend against them. Everyone was startled. They wanted to immediately run over to see what Chen Shang had done to the Divine Artisan Mountain Villa. Although they did not know what happened, after hearing it, everyone was secretly pleased. Then you're planning on going alone, why don't I go with you? Duan Ming said, it'll be safer this way. Right now, there are a few guys with strength equivalent to mine in Heaven Sword City. If I meet them, I can delay them for a while. Those fellows, it was them who sealed me back then. Fortunately, I broke their seal, otherwise, I would have already been killed by them. Chen Shang clenched his fists and said, tomorrow is the wedding day, today we are going to break this mountain, since we have already formed enmity with the Heaven Sword City, there is nothing to be afraid of. This mountain was very big, but breaking it was not difficult, especially for strong people like Chen Shang. Everyone inhaled a breath of cold air. Originally, they had only planned to cause a ruckus in the Heaven Sword City, but Chen Shang had actually wanted to destroy the entire Heaven Sword City. Chen Shang laughed sinisterly. Not only will we destroy this mountain, we will also need to pull out the immortal meridians beneath it. That is the foundation of Heaven Sword City. Chapter 1445. When Chen Shang was in the Divine Artisan Mountain Villa, he used the Green Dragon Demon Slain Broadsword to destroy the immortal meridians in the ground, which was why it caused such a huge amount of damage. If we destroy this mountain, the Heaven Sword City will not fall down. I have observed that there are still many large formations at the bottom of the Heaven Sword City, and when the time comes, they can be suspended in the air. But if we destroy the immortal meridians, they will definitely cause some of their large formations to die. Shui Shenxian said. Duan Ming said. Then everyone please quickly leave this cave and leave the matter of this mountain to me. Chen Shang laughed. Let's destroy them first, the rest of you who are injured, leave this place first. Duan Chong nodded his head. I'll take these brats and leave first. Yun Xiaodao and the others were also injured, but their powers were relatively weaker. After Chen Shang bade them farewell, he quickly brought them and left. In a large hall in Heaven Sword City, Divine Artisan Mountain Villa, Fire Divine Palace, Xietian and other important figures of Heaven Sword City were all sitting here. Chen Shang, this little bastard, has actually destroyed our Divine Artisan Mountain Villa. I will tear him apart alive. An old man said angrily. In his hands, the Green Dragon Demon Slain Broadsword forged by our Divine Craftsman ancestor is an insult to our Divine Craftsman lineage. Chen Shang, who had disappeared for 100 years, suddenly appeared and even annihilated the Divine Artisan Mountain Villa in a few breaths, causing the several forces present to be secretly shocked. What's going on with Chen Shang? Didn't you guys say that he was sealed by you? He can't be unsealed without 10,000 years, and now that he has appeared, and he's so strong too, if not we wouldn't be careless. An old man from the Divine Artisan Mountain Villa looked at the higher-ups angrily. The Fire Divine Palace Lord said coldly, if I'm not mistaken, he was still inside the evil Divine Palace. After we all came out, he opened the black coffin. When the immortal becoming realm rankers from the Heaven Sword City, Devil Suppressing Divine Palace and the Xie family heard that, their bodies shivered and their hearts immediately became envious and resentful. The thing inside the black coffin was extremely important to them. The Green Dragon Demon Slain Broadsword and the Heavenly Evil Sword are both in his hands. Only he can open the black coffin. We don't know what's inside, but it's very important. Fire Divine Palace Lord let out a long sigh. At that time, my master personally made a trip to the Evil Dragon Mountain Range, but he was unable to find Evil Divine Palace. Then what do we do now? The reason why Chen Shang is here is definitely because of Shui Shenxian. The old man from the Heaven Sword City said, we had previously agreed that this marriage would definitely be successful. Otherwise, our Divine Artisan Mountain Villa will have lost them all for nothing. At that time, we must capture Shui Shenxian and force him to surrender. The old man from Divine Artisan Mountain Villa said fiercely. Everyone had always wanted to do this, but previously, because of the protection from the Divine Artisan Mountain Villa they did not take action. Now, the only one protecting Shui Shenxian was the Long family, but if these big powers joined hands, they had the confidence to exterminate the Long family. There are already quite a few people who came to attend the wedding. Let's start today, so as to not create unnecessary trouble. Just as he finished speaking, the entire hall suddenly shook. Following that, a deafening sound rang out, shattering many things. The entire Heaven Sword City was shaking violently, and the houses were collapsing crazily. The mountain is broken. A immortal monarch ran over while shouting in shock, someone broke the mountain. The experts were startled, then immediately understood that this must be a good thing for Chen Shang and the others. They did not expect them to actually plan to destroy Heaven Sword City. The floating array has been activated, and it is now slowly descending to the ground. The immortal monarch said again. The Heavenly Sword Peak was destroyed just like that, but Heaven Sword City was worried about not that, rather, it was the immortal meridian underneath Heavenly Sword Peak. Now that the energy was being transferred to that point, the great array of the Heaven Sword City was being maintained using spiritual crystal S as backup, but it would not last long as there were so many great holy level arrays, and countless spiritual crystal S would be consumed in an instant. The few elders from the Divine Artisan Mountain Villa felt a little better, because the Heaven Sword City wouldn't have any good days ahead of them. This caused them to feel much better in their hearts. Just as the experts left the hall, they saw a flash of green light, followed by a huge green sword as big as the heavenly sword peak falling down, as if coming from a star domain far away from the ancient times. Hearing the waves of stunning dragon roars, the experts immediately understood that this was the green dragon demon slaying broadsword in front of them, and it had even been made extremely huge by Chen Shang. Immortal Meridians A! The old man from the Heaven Sword City roared. However, the green dragon demon slain broadsword had already inserted itself into the broken peak. At the same time that it cut the immortal meridian, it also released a strong force that broke all the immortal meridians. Just as the experts were about to fly over, Duanming suddenly appeared in front of them, holding onto a divine sword. "It's you again." The Fire Divine Palace Lord's face sank, because Duanming was very hard to deal with. Not only was his cultivation technique powerful, he even had a divine sword in his hands. "I advise all of you to attack together. If you're missing one, it's possible that all of you will die here." Duanming sneered. He had already slashed out his sword, a light sword strike, yet it caused a large space to tremble. The spatial shockwave caused the hall below to instantly crack and be neatly sliced apart. With the divine sword and the fact that he was a scattered immortal, Duanming had been tempered by the through tribulations many times, and the innate chi and body within his body were both exceptionally terrifying. The Chen Shang who had disappeared for 100 years had suddenly appeared and exterminated the divine artisan mountain villa. Now, with such a huge commotion happening in the Heaven Sword City, using his knees to think about it, he knew that Chen Shang had already arrived here. Right now, many of the people in the Heaven Sword City had already fled, not wanting to be affected. "Chen Shang is over there. Quick, stop him!" The old man from the Xie clan roared, but he could not escape. If he did not care about everything and went to intercept Chen Shang, he would only be attacked by him. "Leave it to me." The Fire Divine Palace Lord frowned. He immediately rushed forward, but an ice mountain suddenly smashed down, causing him to fall to the ground. "Hurry, we have to stop him!" A middle-aged man from Heaven Sword City shouted. The expert of Divine Artisan Mountain Villa roared. He rushed towards Chen Shang, who saw it and wanted to stop him, but was stopped by the other experts. "Chen Shang, I will skin you alive. How dare you destroy my Divine Artisan Mountain Villa?" The old man roared. "I'll wait for you here." Chen Shang was not afraid in the slightest as he took out the divine furnace. Ignorant little beast. The Divine Artisan Mountain Villa's elderly person was very strong, and he was also a divine artisan's descendant. He took out a golden sword. With one glance, he could tell that it was the holy sword, and slashed at Chen Shang. Chen Shang anxiously opened the lid of the divine cauldron, and the profound yang fire crow inside rushed out, just in time to be struck by the sword chi of the divine craftsman. Chapter 1446. The sudden appearance of the profound yang fire crow surprised all the strong warriors, but Duanming and the old ice dragon all secretly laughed. They had all experienced the strength of this profound yang fire crow before. It was enough for that divine artisan descendant to get humiliated. In order to allow Chen Shang to find Lu Meng'er smoothly, Huang Jintian, Long Huishan and the others felt that they had joined the battle, fighting against a few powerful immortal kings. In the blink of an eye, many experts started fighting in the sky above the Grand Palace in the middle of the Heaven Sword City. "Chen Shang, I never thought that you would still be alive." Xie Kong suddenly flew over, holding a black large sword in his hand, releasing an evil aura. One look and one could tell that it was related to the evil emperor. Chen Shang recognized Xie Kong with a glance. Xie Kong had grown very fast by relying on the evil emperor's inheritance, and was already in the middle stage of the Immortal King stage. Xie Kong flew over. The pitch-black sword in his hand flew out, transforming into a ray of black light that shot towards Chen Shang. "Is this also a sacred sword?" When Chen Shang felt the powerful evil force from the sword, he could not help but be shocked, and took out the divine cauldron. He enlarged the cauldron and aimed the gap towards the incoming black broadsword. The broadsword entered the cauldron and he immediately closed the lid. Then, he kept the cauldron. Xie Kong was startled. He had initially had confidence in his sword strike. Even if he was unable to attack Chen Shang, he could still probe Chen Zhang's strength, but who knew that Chen Shang would actually use the divine furnace to receive his sword? "Thank you once again for sending me the sword." Chen Shang chuckled, and continued to rush towards the palace, where Lu Meng'er was now. He had already gifted 3 holy swords to Chen Shang. Originally, he had planned to find a chance to repay the favor, but now, he had even given him a holy sword. "Don't look down on others. I definitely won't let you succeed today." Xie Kong roared. His hair suddenly started dancing wildly, both of his eyes turning red. both of his fingers suddenly became very long, as though there was a small blood sword growing out. Evil God Palm. Xie Kong growled, the evil chi on his body gushed out. Suddenly a black thick cloud appeared in the sky, transforming into a black gigantic palm that pressed down towards Chen Shang. Such insignificant skill, break it for me. Chen Shang made a grasping motion in the air, and all the immortal energy around him surged, condensing into a faint golden energy ball in his palm. When the black evil god palm pressed down, Chen Shang threw out the ball of Holy Spirit Qi. The golden ball of energy was only the size of a grain of rice compared to the black evil god's palm. Upon seeing it, Xie Kong couldn't help but sneer. However, the moment the ball of energy came into contact with the evil god's palm, it suddenly exploded, flashing with an extremely intense golden light. It was as glaring as the sun, and the evil god's palm formed from a large amount of evil chi was instantly purified. How is that possible? Xie Kong and Luo Yitao had been using it a lot. Every time they used it, it would cause a huge commotion, but it was destroyed by Chen Shang in an instant. When the other experts saw Xie Kong unleashing the evil god's palm, they knew that Chen Shang was about to be suppressed. Although the power of the evil god's palm was still very strong even when it was used by a middle-stage immortal king, Chen Shang was stronger. What Chen Shang had just used was the true devil-suppressing holy power. Originally, the devil-suppressing holy power only carried the power of a sacred spirit, but now, it was the holy power of a genuine expert of the holy level. Although you gave me 3 holy swords, and I am very grateful to you, you can go and die now. Chen Shang knew that if he did not kill this Xie Kong, he would definitely be pestered. Come on, I want to see how you will kill me. Green Dragon Demon Slain Broadsword, I'm sorry, I don't have that blade with me, we have already found a way to restrain it. Xie Kong laughed coldly. On his blood-red hand, a green light suddenly appeared, the sharp nails on it flickered with a purple light, it looked like it was extremely poisonous. To deal with trash like you, I don't even need a green dragon demon slain broadsword. Xie Kong, who was in the distance just a moment ago, suddenly appeared above Xie Kang's head. Xie Kong sensed a oppressing power in the sky that caused him to feel fear and trepidation. He wanted to dodge, but the evil energy in his body seemed to have already lost its power, causing him to be unable to move. Chen Shang appeared above Xie Kong, his palm diving down towards the ground while his palm had a very small golden word. The holy devil-suppressing seal appeared in his palm and released waves after waves of vigorous devil-suppressing holy power, forming a simple yet imposing gigantic word. Die! Chen Shang shouted, and the gigantic character immediately released a burst of killing intent. At that moment, Xie Kong screamed in despair. It was too late for the Xie family experts in the distance to rush over. Boom! The clear and loud sound shook the entire space, as though it was ripping apart the heaven and earth, and the moment the word, suppress, came out, the entire world seemed to collapse. Xie Kang's entire body was filled with evil chi, but facing the word, suppress, all that was left was ashes and smoke, and his soul scattered all over. An evil being is an evil being, with just that bit of strength. You want me to reveal my green dragon demon slain broadsword, HMPH. With that palm strike from Chen Shang just now, a large building in the middle of Heaven Sword City was destroyed, and the ground seemed to have been flipped several times. Conjure! The old man from the Xie clan roared, and started to fight even more crazily with Duan Ming. He had already suffered some injuries on his body, so he could only hope that Chen Shang would hurry up and rescue Lu Meng'er and let him leave this place as soon as possible. Even after Xie Kong died, he was still killed by Chen Zhang's palm strike. It was as simple as killing a dog, he didn't even use his weapon. Although Luo Yitao had always been addressed as the youngest and strongest immortal king, Xie Kong was also about the same as him. Chen Shang was not worried about Lu Meng'er, because Lu Meng'er had the Suzaku silk on him, it was a divine weapon that could attack and defend. Along the way, there were a few immortal kings who wanted to stop Chen Shang, but were all killed by Chen Shang using the divine cauldrons one by one. When he controlled the divine cauldrons to fly out, the people who were attacked were as if they were facing an incomparably heavy mountain. In the Heavenly Sword Hall, Chen Shang saw Luo Yitao holding onto a red long sword and wearing a set of clothes that emitted a strange red light. In his hand was a purple ring, one could tell that he had obtained this equipment from the tomb. Luo Yitao was not the least bit nervous as he looked at Chen Shang with a smile. Chapter 1447, Xie Kong is dead, this guy really isn't. After obtaining the evil emperor's inheritance, he's still so weak, and was even killed by you with just one palm. To think that the people outside are even comparing him to me, this is simply a kind of humiliation to me. The fight outside was in full swing, but Luo Yitao was extremely calm, as if nothing had happened outside. It seems that if I want to save elder sister Menge'er, I have to kill you first. He had a connection with Lu Menger's Suzaku silk. As long as they were in the vicinity, he would be able to sense that Lu Menger was currently in the Great Hall. Don't be naive, even if you could kill me, you wouldn't be able to save Lu Menger. Do you know who is there? Do you really think that the Divine Artisan Mountain Villa is making a deal with our Heaven Sword City? Do you really think that we would all go out to fight you, and not leave a single expert behind to keep an eye on the important Lu Menger? Luo Yitao laughed coldly. Although he still had his arrogance from before, he had matured a lot, and was not as impulsive as before. Chen Shang thought about it, and felt that it made sense. The fact that the Heaven Sword City and the Divine Artisan Mountain Villa were willing to bear such a huge loss to prevent Lu Menger from being saved, and that the Fire Divine Palace, Devil Suppressing Divine Palace and the Xie clan were all here, made the trade behind the scenes unimaginable. In that case, the Fire Emperor is looking at her. Chen Shang took a small breath and asked. You're quite smart. You were able to guess that this lord is here, so you will definitely lose today. Luo Yitao's lips curled into a disdainful smile. After 100 years, you have become much stronger, but today, you will die here. I'm not dead yet. There is no absolute in this world. Chen Shang smiled indifferently. I have indeed killed the Ice Emperor, so even if the Fire Emperor is here, I do not need to be afraid. Also, no matter what, you will definitely die before me, because I will immediately send you on your way. The Fire Emperor was indeed here, but Long Shui had already sensed it. Chen Shang could only take one step at a time, and get rid of the ones who were blocking the road first. The one who will die will be you. In the end, I will marry Lu Menger over. Ha ha, Luo Yitao laughed out loud, transforming into a red shadow, flashing towards Chen Shang. This Luo Yitao was much more powerful than Xie Kong, who knew how he managed to cultivate such a terrifying evil force. Originally, Chen Shang thought that Luo Yitao would appear to his left, so he immediately dodged to the side, but that Luo Yitao also had extremely fast movement speed, he actually appeared on his right side right away, unexpectedly slashing towards Chen Zhang's neck. If he did not dodge quickly, his head would have been cut off already. Are you still not taking out the Green Dragon Demon Slain Broadsword S? Otherwise, you will have no chance of survival at all. Seeing Chen Shang being frightened by his own sword, Luo Yitao was a little pleased with himself and rushed forward again. This time his sword attack was much stronger than last time. The moment the sword was unleashed, the surrounding space was immediately shaken by the powerful evil power that suddenly surged out from his body. Black cracks appeared in the space, and tyrannical space power gushed out from the inside. I don't need a Green Dragon Demon Slain Broadsword to kill you. Both of Chen Zhang's hands flashed with a white light, and a pair of white gloves appeared. The killing intent in the hall suddenly became stronger, and completely suppressed Luo Yitao's evil qi. The blood-red sword hacked over. He reached out to grab it, wanting to grab it. Unfortunately, the sword's body was extremely sturdy, but he still held onto it tightly, kicking out at the same time. Luo Yitao wanted to pull the sword out, but he used a lot of strength but he was unable to do so. It was as if he was connected to Chen Zhang's palm. He predicted that Chen Shang would kick him, so he also kicked Chen Shang. HMPH. Chen Shang circulated most of the Holy Spirit force in his body and poured it into his thigh. Immediately, golden light overflowed from all directions, and fiercely kicked at Luo Yitao's leg, stepping on it. The strong Holy Spirit force and the strength of his body of heavenly sage combined, causing his kick to be extremely overbearing and violent, forcefully ripping Luo Yitao's leg apart. Ah! Luo Yitao screamed out, and the moment he released his hand, the blood-red sword was immediately pulled away by Chen Shang. The strength on Chen Zhang's thigh had yet to dissipate. He raised his leg and swept past Luo Yitao's chest, forming a large chunk of flesh. Luo Yitao retreated a few steps, his entire body shivered. He could not believe that Chen Zhang's strength was actually this terrifying. His entire body was like a divine weapon. A large chunk of flesh and blood on his chest seemed to have been scooped out, even the armor on his body had difficulty defending. This was the terror of holy power. Adding to the body of heavenly sage, Chen Shang could use this kind of terrifying power without restraint, making his entire body as strong as a holy weapon. Chen Shang put away the holy weapon that he had just snatched away and rushed over to the side of the shocked Luo Yitao. His fist was brimming with holy energy, as he fiercely smashed it onto Luo Yitao's face. Pung, sound was heard. A chunk of flesh, along with a piece of bone, was thrown out from Luo Yitao's face. Bang bang bang, Chen Zhang's fists were like rain, fiercely smashing Luo Yitao's body. You can't die that easily. Chen Shang laughed coldly, his fists and legs were so ferocious that they wreaked havoc on Luo Yitao. At this moment, a few immortal kings had already rushed in, and seeing that Chen Shang could strike out with his flesh and blood, they could not help but shiver. Chen Shang, Luo Yitao screamed out. That scream was filled with endless hatred and fear, and it resonated throughout the hall. That despair made everyone who heard it tremble. I've said it before, you will definitely die before me. Evil demon, go to hell. Chen Zhang's palm burned with fire, with a flash of rainbow-colored light, it flew towards Luo Yitao. The fire was no longer a heavenly fire, but a holy fire. The rainbow's sacred flame was extremely terrifying. Even before the flames even touched Luo Yitao's body, just that aura was already enough to burn Luo Yitao's bloody body into ashes. After Chen Shang killed Luo Yitao, he took a deep breath, because the enemy he would be facing next was possibly the strongest enemy he had ever encountered, the Fire Emperor, one of the 9 emperors. Outside the Great Hall, the fighting was still in full swing, but inside the Great Hall where Chen Shang was, there was a kind of suffocating silence. Those immortal kings who had just recently entered the hall had now retreated. Chen Shang followed the reaction between him and the Suzaku silk and took a heavy step forward. He didn't know what would happen next, but he had to go. Maybe we can talk about this guy. You have more precious things than Suzaku silk. Long Shui said. Chen Shang shook his head. There's nothing to talk about with this person, I have already prepared for the worst. Chapter 1448. The stone room was very bright, and on top of the room hung a few large white pearls. When he came in, the door was opened, and in the middle of the stone room sat a middle-aged man wearing a fire-red robe. Lu Meng'er, who was trapped in a forbidden area in the corner. Are you all right? Chen Shang looked at Lu Meng'er and smiled. Not bad, Lu Meng'er said softly. Chen Shang walked towards her as if he did not see the middle-aged man who sat on the stone chair in the middle. The middle-aged man was tall and sturdy, although the stone chair was very big, he looked crowded sitting there. His face was covered with a black beard, and his eyes stared blankly at the ground, as though Chen Shang had never come in, and stared blankly at the floor. The formation that trapped Lu Meng'er was not that complicated, he broke it open in a few steps and released Lu Meng'er out. Lu Meng'er could not believe it, because the person sitting there did not stop Chen Shang. Although Chen Shang looked very calm, his heart was thumping hard. He did not dare believe that the Fire Emperor would let him save Lu Meng'er just like that. Let's go. Chen Shang pulled Lu Meng'er and walked towards the door. He did not look at the Fire Emperor, but he felt that it would not be that easy. As expected, just as he was about to bring Lu Meng'er out of the stone room, the Fire Emperor spoke. You have the White Tiger divine weapon in your hands, right? The Green Dragon Demon Slain Broadsword, the Killer's Hand, the Suzaku Silk is right here. I didn't expect to encounter 3 of them at the same time. Fire Emperor's voice was calm as he raised his head and looked at Chen Shang. When Chen Shang was fighting with Luo Yitao outside earlier, although Fire Emperor was not outside, he could see everything clearly. Chen Shang said, that's right, even though you encountered it, you were unable to, you should have seen the Suzaku Silk. The moment 4 symbols divine weapons identifies the person, you would not be able to shake him off even if you wanted to, and even if you die, you would not be able to shake him off. I've heard of this before, back then Shi used half his life to cut off the connection between him and the Green Dragon Demon Slain Broadsword. I'm afraid you guys can't do it now, but I never thought that over the years, so many people would come to find trouble with you in order to snatch your divine weapon, but they didn't know that these weapons were not theirs, and would never be theirs to own. Fire Emperor's face revealed a ridiculing smile. He was ridiculing those people who tried to steal the divine weapons, but in the end, most of them had died in Chen Zhang's hands. You seem very naive. Fire Emperor laughed. You think you can bring him away just like this? You should know who I am. Chen Shang laughed. Of course I know, you must be the famous Fire Emperor, I have heard about your matters a long time ago. Back then, you and Ice Emperor were beaten so badly by 10 Heaven's Supreme Lord that you ran away clutching your head like a rat, half dead, and your partner Ice Emperor was even killed by me without leaving anything behind. Lu Meng'er was stunned for a moment, and then, he forcefully squeezed Chen Zhang's hand. He clearly knew that it was Fire Emperor, yet he deliberately said such words to enrage everyone. Fire Emperor was startled and then laughed out loud. Since you know, why are you so naive? Do you really believe that you can run away and bring a person along? Don't you think you're also very naive? You really think you're powerful, although you're relatively stronger in the 9 heavens, that doesn't mean you can control everything in the 9 heavens. You're not a 10 heavens supreme lord yet, and you don't have the strength you once had. Chen Shang also laughed out loud. Lu Meng'er pinched his nails together with Chen Shang. She was very worried that Chen Shang would be smashed into pieces by the Fire Emperor's palm. I really admire you. You can kill the Ice Emperor and destroy his corpse and soul. I don't know how you did it, but you can also obtain the Green Dragon Demon Slain Broadsword and slaughter God's hand, and you can also obtain the ground killing, and you can also master the divine cauldron left behind by a divine craftsman. However, you must understand now, although I do not have the strength I had back then, I am still alive. I am not half dead like the Ice Emperor, and my strength is much stronger than those fellows outside. Fire Emperor paused for a moment, before continuing, on what basis do you think you can escape in front of me? Chen Shang said, that's right, you were once one of the 9 emperors. Although you did not have the strength you had before, a skinny camel is still bigger than a horse. There is indeed no possibility for me to escape with a person in front of you. Since that's the case, why did you still anger me? Could it be your last moments of struggle? However, you should know that I will not kill you. You have what I want on you, especially you. The Fire Emperor said. Chen Shang was an ancient treasury, and the things he had, even the experts of the primordial era would risk everything to snatch it. Just based on this, a Chaos Fire token appeared in Chen Zhang's hands. Seeing the Chaos Fire token, Fire Emperor's face changed, and at that moment, the Chaos Fire token released a protective divine light that stopped Fire Emperor from moving. Chen Shang stored Lu Meng'er into the ring, and Long Shui's power suddenly surged into his body, allowing him to unleash the most powerful of the laws of space and travel a greater distance. Chen Shang disappeared from the stone room, while Duan Ming and the rest who were fighting outside also received the notice, and went to his side. In a short period of time, they had all retreated to Huang Jintian's side, blocking the incoming attacks. Let's go. Huang Jintian immediately activated his technique and brought everyone to disappear from the Heaven Sword City. Just as Huang Jintian and the rest were about to leave, a huge pillar of fire suddenly spewed out of the huge palace in the middle of the Heaven Sword City, causing the entire hall to be destroyed by the Fire Emperor. Chen Shang. The furious roars of the Fire Emperor could be heard for thousands of miles around. When the experts heard it, they knew that Chen Shang had successfully saved Lu Meng'er. To actually be able to bring her away in front of Fire Emperor, the many experts could not imagine how Chen Shang did it. After that furious roar, Fire Emperor also quickly left the messy Heaven Sword City. Chen Shang and Lu Meng'er were walking hand in hand in the middle of a beautiful forest. It was very warm and cozy. Little scoundrel, you scared me to death. I didn't expect you to really be able to escape. Lu Meng'er pinched Chen Zhang's cheek and laughed. Someone like the Fire Emperor would inevitably act so arrogantly. If he had taken me down as soon as I entered, there wouldn't have been so many problems. After all, he didn't want to show off and he didn't have absolute strength. Chen Shang grabbed onto Lu Meng'er's jade hands, then wrapped his arms around her slender waist and hugged her fragrant lips. Just as the two were kissing passionately, Long Shui shouted, "They're here." Chen Shang was unwilling to part with Lu Meng'er, and there were also many people in front. Even though they looked exhausted, they were not severely injured, and every one of them had smiles plastered all over their faces. To be able to successfully save Lu Meng'er from the Heaven Sword City, made everyone feel a great sense of accomplishment. Chapter 1449. They had successfully saved Lu Meng'er, but everyone was in a bad situation. They had offended several strong powers, and Chen Shang had angered the Fire Emperor. Don't worry about Fire Emperor. Ice Dragon race isn't someone to be trifled with. Long Huishan smiled and patted Chen Zhang's shoulder. She was very proud that her brother was able to save her from Fire Emperor. Everyone had already left the Heaven Sword City and returned to the Frozen Dragon Asgard. At this moment, they were celebrating in the Great Hall of the Long family. As they ate and chatted merrily, a few hours passed. At daybreak, everyone left one after another. Huang Jintian brought Jiyu Dongchen and Wu Kaming along, and did not say where he was going. He only said that he was going to bring them to wander the Heaven Realm, and Duan Ming and the others continued to bring the young people around Yun Xiaodao to train them, because during this mission, Yun Xiaodao and the others were all injured and did not have enough strength. Chen Shang bade farewell to everyone, sending them off while he stayed behind in the Long family's residence. In a small courtyard in the Long family's residence, Chen Shang, Lu Meng'er and the other girls were present. Elder sister Meng'er, where are your parents? Will they be all right? Seeing Lu Meng'er's worry, Chen Shang asked softly. They will be fine, they should have left the Divine Artisan Mountain Villa. At that time, disagreements appeared within the Divine Artisan Mountain Villa regarding my matter. My parents' master was against exchanging with me, but he was not a match for the masses, so he could only bring my parents away, worried that my parents would do something stupid. Lu Meng'er sighed softly. He said that he would come and save me. Perhaps because he saw you all make a move, he didn't make a move. Master, are you going to look for them now? You should stop running around and avoid the limelight. Lang Yulan said with a face full of mirth. I'm already very powerful right now, I might be able to beat Master and Big Sister. Lu Meng'er chuckled as he caressed her silky white hair affectionately and said, Yulan, thank you for coming to save me. Don't be so polite with me. You can be considered my brother's wife and my master. Of course I want to go. Lang Yulan laughed and even pushed Lu Meng'er over to her, causing her to blush. Seeing that, Hua Shangyu laughed. I still have some things to do, I'll go get busy. Long Huishan had also followed Hua Shangyu and left. She also knew that Hua Shangyu and Chen Shang had that kind of relationship, and it was very deep as well. The last time Hua Shangyu and Chen Shang had lived in the Long family for a period of time, they had been sleeping together every night at that time. As seeing Long Huishan and Hua Shangyu walking out of the small courtyard, she casually found an excuse and followed Hua Shangyu and the others. Shui Shenxian was also present, and the atmosphere was a little awkward. Just as she wanted to leave, Lu Meng'er pulled her back. Shenxian, don't go, or else this little scoundrel will bully me, Lu Meng'er said with a rosy face. Shui Shenxian laughed. Elder sister Meng'er, then you mean for me to bully this little scoundrel together with you? Chen Shang took a deep breath. Looking at the situation, he knew that he would have a hard time tonight. How about I call the little girl, Shang Yu? She's my slave, so she can serve us. Chen Shang laughed as he rubbed his hands. Shui Shenxian laughed mischievously. Should we also call Yulan over? This, of course. Chen Shang laughed. What are you guys doing? Lu Meng'er asked with furrowed brows. She had a bad premonition. She knew that although Shui Shenxian looked as gentle as water, he would become very mischievous when he was with Lang Yulan all day, not to mention Chen Zhang's wife, this little scoundrel. Ha. Chen Shang smiled mischievously as he opened his arms and embraced Lu Meng'er and Shui Shenxian, then walked into the house. Inside the bathroom, mist swirled around, and within the bath, a man and a woman could be seen. Chen Shang and Lu Meng'er were soaking in the bath. Shui Shenxian wasn't together at all, she was just feeling a little awkward because of the atmosphere. After all, this was the first time for Lu Meng'er, and she was so shy. Elder sister Meng'er, do you remember the first time we met? Inside the bathing pool, Chen Shang was in the warm water. Pavilion Master Lu Meng'er's snow-white body felt the lubrication and gentleness of her body, and used one of her hands to caress the most impressive and wonderful part of her body. Of course I remember. At that time, you were still a little ghost. You were only that big. At that time, I never would have thought that my man would be such a person. Lu Meng'er kept on shouting as she squeezed Chen Zhang's chest softly. Were you looking down on me back then? Chen Shang laughed sinisterly, and wrapped her arms around Lu Meng'er's waist to let her flawless jade body be completely exposed. At the moment, it was dripping with water, and her moist yet beautiful snow-white body looked even more captivating. Stinky brat, what are you doing? Lu Meng'er screamed as she kicked her slender legs, making it even harder for Chen Shang to control her. I want to eat you. Chen Shang laughed sinisterly, his eyes greedily looking at the beauty that was in his embrace, the endless evil flames in his eyes, as though he wanted to melt this beauty and fuse her with him. Lu Meng'er knew that this would happen sooner or later. She felt that this kind of situation was very complicated in her heart, and she felt fear in her heart, but there was also anticipation, and when she felt that Chen Zhang's breathing had become hurried, she could not help but reach out her jade hands and gently stroke Chen Zhang's chest. She wanted to calm his restless heart, but her heart was beating at a pace not slower than Chen Shang. Chen Shang placed Lu Meng'er onto the bed, and the two of them looked at each other in deep love, their lips unknowingly moving closer, then touching together. The moment Chen Shang stuck out her tongue, she felt Lu Meng'er's tongue tremble a little. She was clearly a little excited, and unlike before, she became very proactive. Her soft and fragrant tongue seemed to want to tightly wrap around Chen Shang, becoming wild and excited. During the kiss, Chen Shang was actually suppressed by the other party, and was completely in a passive position. However, he also felt extremely satisfied with it, and turning around, he allowed Lu Meng'er to lie on his body. A big hand slowly slid down from his back to his waist, and placed on that abundant, pinching gently. Following the continuous teasing of Chen Zhang's hands, Lu Meng'er's breasts were completely hooked, and her breathing became hurried. Just when she felt that her body was burning from emotions, a tearing pain suddenly came, causing her to scream out in pain. "Elder sister Meng'er, leave it to me," Chen Shang whispered into her ear. Be more gentle. I'm afraid of pain." Lu Meng'er was a little afraid of the pain she felt just now, but she knew that in that moment, she had become Chen Zhang's woman. After that, the room was filled with one charming spring scene after another, accompanied by beautiful, soft moans. Chapter 1450. Before the sky brightened, Lu Meng'er had already woken up. She went to the bathroom, and washed the traces of happiness on her face. So that's what Shangyu meant when she said dual cultivation. There really are many benefits. No wonder this little demon is so concerned. Lu Meng'er, who had just tasted it, was completely immersed in its indescribable beauty. She was wearing a simple and plain white dress, but she looked refined and refined. With every movement she made, she revealed her charm. Seeing the sweet and elegant smile on her face, Hua Shangyu laughed. That kid still hasn't come out. As expected, Meng'er is really strong, making him unable to get out of bed. Lu Meng'er pouted coquettishly, her face immediately flushed red. "Little demoness, you know that brat's abilities much better than me." Long Huishan coughed dryly. "I didn't expect this little brother of mine to be so bad. In the future, I must make the girl from the Long family stay away from him. Big sis Huishan, I think you'd better keep your distance from this little scoundrel. He has a long hand." Hua Shangyu intentionally or unintentionally glanced at Leng Yulin, who was drinking his fruit wine. "Little demoness." Long Huishan snorted. Of course she knew what Hua Shangyu meant. Shui Shenxian chuckled. "Yu Lan, quickly go call your brother up. We have something important to discuss with him." Leng Yulin finished the fruit wine in the cup in large gulps, then quickly walked towards the small house. When she went in, Chen Shang had just finished showering and had come out. "Brother, Sister Shenxian told me to come and call for you because she has something important to discuss with you," Leng Yulin said. "Since it's something important, let's go now." Chen Shang and Leng Yulin immediately entered the hall. At this time, many people were already seated in the hall, especially those old people. They were all very strong old dragons. Chen Shang had even seen Long Perong, as well as Long Perong's father, the mysterious very high elder. After Chen Shang entered, he bowed to each and every one of these seniors. "Is there something important?" Chen Shang was a little worried that the Long family would not accept Lu Meng'er and the others, because after the incident with Heaven Sword City, it had a huge impact on them. It was equivalent to slapping the faces of a few major forces, which would definitely not let things go, especially Fire Emperor. Long Huishan took out the Ice Dragon sword and handed it over to Chen Shang. "I'll return this to you." "Oh, why did you give it back to me? This was originally part of your Ice Dragon bloodline." Chen Shang was a little confused, so they took it. "You once used this Ice Dragon sword to summon the Ice Dragon Grand Master, and you and the Ice Dragon Grand Master have also interacted before, so even if this sword is in your hands, we feel that it's nothing much," the very high elder said. Chen Shang accepted it, then asked, "Just what is the important matter? Please speak directly." Those old ice dragons looked at Long Huishan. They wanted to make Long Huishan speak. "Little brother, you can't stay in the Long family for too long." "Saya," Long Huishan sighed helplessly, "we have already done our best to communicate with Fire Emperor, but he still wants to make a move against you. If our Ice Dragon lineage wants to receive you, then Fire Emperor will immediately attack." Chen Shang nodded. He had already expected this would happen. She looked at Shui Shenxian and the others. "What about them?" "Don't worry, they will continue to stay here. Fire Emperor is only targeting you right now," Long Huishan said. "Among the 9 emperors, only the Fire Emperor has shown himself. With his current strength, he has an extremely strong rallying power. Even if the other powers do not cooperate with the Fire Divine Palace, they would definitely not interact with us. Your Long family has already given me a lot of help. I alone cannot drag down the entire Long family." "I understand," Chen Shang sighed. Leng Yulin, Shui Shenxian and the others had already known about this matter from a long time ago, but they didn't think much of it. This was because they had been used to Chen Shang roaming about outside every day, but they felt that it was a pity that they didn't have enough ability to be together with Chen Shang, otherwise it would only implicate him. When you get stronger and destroy Fire Emperor, there's nothing to be afraid of. You leave this guy with Munger right now, making him angry and making him use all his power to deal with you. This is a very normal thing, it will be fine after a while. Long Huishan patted Chen Zhang's shoulders and smiled at him. Yes, I'll leave tonight. Chen Shang said. Chen Shang, Shui Shenxian and the others reminisced for quite a while before they quietly left the Long family. Where are you going now? Su Meiyao asked with a voice filled with jealousy, because her little man had fallen in love with another woman. We need to go to a very safe place and kiss Sister Meiyao's lips. Chen Shang laughed sinisterly. Don't be so talkative, just be serious. Where are you going next? Fire Emperor isn't that easy to deal with. He might be able to find you anytime. Su Meiyao said seriously. Chen Shang thought for a moment, then said, I plan to make a trip to hundreds of flowers Immortal country. Flower Emperor might have a live slain method. If I want to quickly obtain its power, to defeat Fire Emperor, I need to gather all of it. 100 years have passed, I wonder how strong Flower Emperor is now. If she really becomes strong, then she might have a live slain method. Su Meiyao said. As for whether or not the Flower Emperor had the alive slain method, Chen Shang was not completely sure, but it was very possible that he did, so he had to make a trip to the hundreds of flowers Immortal country to have a secret discussion with the Flower Emperor. Chen Shang had teleported from the Ice Dragon Immortal Palace to the hundreds of flowers Immortal country's main palace. This was also a great immortal palace, because there would often be many precious strange flowers and herbs appearing, so the hundreds of flowers Immortal country was also where many outstanding alchemists gathered. This made Chen Shang even more suspicious of the fact that the Flower Emperor possessed the alive slain method, and had used it to duplicate precious spirit herbs. Although Flower Emperor was already a certain age, according to what Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu knew of her, Flower Emperor was merely a little girl compared to the old fellows of the large forces. However, she was called Flower Emperor because of the speed at which she was growing up. Chen Shang guessed that the Flower Emperor knew a series of precious medicinal ingredients, which was why she was able to use those precious medicinal ingredients to exchange for high-level pellets. Or, she could get a few high-level alchemists to help her refine the pellets, which was why she was able to quickly improve. Chen Zhang's youngest recognized sister was precisely the Flower Emperor's disciple, so he felt that it shouldn't be too difficult to meet the Flower Emperor. Little Ling is in closed-door training. I'm sorry I didn't see her. I should have a chance next time. When Chen Shang was at the Long family, she wanted to see Shen Lingling. However, this little girl was very hardworking, spending all her time in seclusion to break through the bottleneck. Because she had some flaws in her body, she worked very hard the day after tomorrow. Within the hundreds of flowers Immortal country's main palace, in a few of the bounty halls, there was already a bounty on Chen Shang. Moreover, the latest news was that Chen Shang had already left the Long family. Chen Shang was forced to leave the Long family because the Fire Divine Palace was already pressuring them. If Chen Shang continued to stay there, the Fire Emperor would personally go over, and even if he couldn't capture Chen Shang, he would definitely exterminate the Long family. If Chen Shang left the Long family, where would he go? Previously, Chen Shang had gone missing for 100 years, but after appearing, he actually had an extremely strong power, annihilating 2 powerful young immortal kings in succession, and even saved Lu Munger from the Fire Emperor. What was most unbelievable was that Chen Shang destroyed the Divine Artisan Mountain Villa by himself. And at this time, there was a rumor that Chen Shang had been staying in the Devil Killing Summit for the past 100 years, so he could be considered to be one of the Devil Killing Summit's people. If only DTN could appear above the 9 heavens, then that would be great. With the White Tiger here, there's nothing to be afraid of in the Fire Emperor. Chen Shang sighed, because many of the major powers were already famous enough to help the Fire Divine Palace catch Chen Shang. Furthermore, Chen Shang himself was an enemy of many great powers, plus he had the treasures, he would definitely be able to capture him. Chen Shang had also asked about the Profoundiang Fire Crow. After he let the Profoundiang Fire Crow out, the Heaven Sword City caused a huge ruckus, but just as he was about to make a move, he slipped away. He did not know where the Profoundiang Fire Crow was now. Heaven Sword City was also placing a bounty on the Profoundiang Fire Crow. As long as there were any clues, he would be able to receive the bounty. What a pity! If this Profoundiang Fire Crow had been sealed within the Divine Furnace all this time, perhaps one day, I might be able to tame it. Chen Shang secretly sighed, and went to the entrance of the Hundreds of Flowers Palace. There were 2 gigantic red flowers at the entrance of the Hundreds of Flowers Palace, and there were a few big men on top of the petals. They were all at the Immortal Monarch's level of strength. Furthermore, there was a very powerful barrier around the gate. Only those who had opened it could enter. Otherwise, it would be very difficult for even an immortal king to charge in. You should leave. Last time you were this rude, our palace master will not meet you again. The gatekeeper said to an old man. I know that I was wrong. I beg for your help and help me pass down the message to the Flower Emperor. Tell her that I have thought it through. Seeing that he was only a late period of human immortal, the Flower Emperor actually dared to meet him. That large man shook his head. The palace mistress has said that she will not see you again. Please leave. Seeing how determined the big man was, the old man let out a long sigh and left dejectedly. Chen Shang immediately followed behind him, leaving the entrance of the Hundreds of Flowers Palace far behind before he entered the old man. Old mister, why do you want to see Flower Emperor? Chen Shang asked directly. The old man trembled. When he saw that the one who had asked the question was a handsome Xiao Huo, he was no longer as vigilant. His face darkened as he said, You actually followed me. Chen Shang immediately smiled apologetically. I'm just curious, there are people in Hundreds of Flowers Palace, maybe I can help you. HMPH, even if you have people, it's useless. Unless your people are disciples of the Flower Emperor, it's useless, because I angered the Flower Emperor last time. The old man said. Chen Shang would never tell him that his recognized sister was Flower Emperor's disciple. The old sir is really powerful, to be able to meet the Flower Emperor, and furthermore it is fine to anger her, the old sir must be a famous ranker. Chen Shang said, he was truly curious why the old man wanted to see the Flower Emperor, because no matter how he looked at it, the old man did not seem to be a ranker. Chapter 1451. In the eyes of the old man, Chen Shang was just a nosy kid. He impatiently said, Brat, you said that you have someone in the Hundreds of Flowers Palace, what kind of person are you? I don't know what level she is currently at, but when she first entered Hundreds of Flowers Palace, she was an immortal monarch. It has already been a long time, she should have some status there. Chen Shang said. When the old man heard this, he felt that there might be hope. He whispered, if you can help me with something, I will give you a lot of money. It's not convenient to talk about this here. Chen Shang did not expect the old man to change his attitude so quickly. He laughed. I was just about to enter the Hundreds of Flowers Palace. The old man's name was Ji Yuan and he said that he came from a faraway place. There were some things in his hands that he needed to borrow the power of the Flower Emperor to become treasures. Ji Yuan was very rich, he brought Chen Shang into a very luxurious restaurant, and asked for a private room with all sorts of arrays. When giving spiritual crystal a room, he did not even bat an eye, as if treating them as dirt. Chen Shang felt that Ji Yuan's strength was not as weak as he appeared on the surface. He must have concealed a very strong power. Ji Yuan took out a very small jade box. After opening it, there were 2 sesame-sized golden granules inside. Chen Shang did not know what those granules were. What is this? Chen Shang asked. It's normal that you don't know him. Even Flower Emperor recognized him back then. Ji Yuan's face suddenly filled with arrogance and excitement. What kind of precious medicinal herb is this? Chen Shang guessed. He felt that this was very possible, because if it was a seed of a precious medicinal ingredient, only the Hundreds of Flowers immortal country could make it sprout and grow faster. No, Ji Yuan replied. How could it be that kind of thing? If it were precious medicinal ingredients, I wouldn't have come here to request the Flower Emperor's help. Chen Shang became even more curious. Then what is this? Is it really not a holy level medicinal ingredient? Ji Yuan sneered. So what if I have holy level medicinal herbs? If my 2 seeds can take root, then I can obtain as many holy level medicinal herbs as I want. Then what exactly is this thing? Ji Yuan didn't look crazy, he sounded as if he was being serious. I have given this thing a name called the Tree of Creation. This is because this tree can grow very high and finally connect to a world where there are endless amounts of medicinal herbs. All of the flowers, plants, and trees in these 9 days were born because that world provided energy. Ji Yuan kept the 2 pellets properly, as if he was worried that Chen Shang would steal them away. If it was in the past, Chen Shang would definitely not believe such words, but now, he believed it deeply, because the place Ji Yuan mentioned should be the legendary Endless Heaven Realm. The spirit grain S left at the bottom of the jade box that evil emperor left behind could open the gate to the heavenly evil realm, and the heavenly evil realm should be a domain that fostered evil powers. Furthermore, the heaven realm that Ji Yuan mentioned might be the heaven realm where flowers, plants and trees were created. If one could go to that heaven realm, one might be able to find a large amount of valuable medicinal herbs, especially the extremely rare holy level medicinal herbs. There is a very powerful maturing array in hundreds of flowers Immortal country. That group of women used it to cultivate medicinal ingredients, and it is much stronger than the large powers. From time to time, hundreds of flowers Immortal country would release some precious medicinal ingredients, and those are all inferior products released by the hundreds of flowers palace. Ji Yuan sighed. If I want to take root and sprout like this, I can only rely on the powerful array inside hundreds of flowers palace. Chen Shang was a little agitated in his heart. He asked, "Does Flower Emperor believe what you say?" Ji Yuan nodded. Of course she believes that. It's just that the conditions that she offered were too high and they were extremely harsh, and she actually wanted me to give a seed to her, which was why she was willing to help me sprout the seed. Chen Shang felt that this condition was very normal, and asked again, "Then how do you plan to pay her?" Ji Yuan said, "I plan to give her a set of holy level medicinal herbs, but the condition is that I have to go to that place. Furthermore, she has to protect that tree and not let anyone climb onto it." Hearing this, Chen Shang really wanted to give Ji Yuan a slap on the face. He now understood why Flower Emperor was so angry. This guy was really too stingy. Senior, since you have a request from someone, your conditions should be more generous. Flower Emperor is not someone that lacks holy level medicinal herbs. To put it bluntly, giving her a holy level medicinal herb is equivalent to sending out beggars. Chen Shang said. Don't tell me we have to give her a seed. Doesn't that mean that she can also enter that place and let the hundreds of flowers Immortal country in? Then she will definitely be robbed clean by those bitches. Ji Yuan shook his head. Senior, if that tree really grows out, and if others find out that it can reach that world, do you think you can defend yourself? How much do you think you can obtain in the end? Chen Shang patted his shoulder. Right now, those few big powers are severely injured. If they knew, tisk tisk, they would definitely crawl up like a group of hungry wolves. Even Hua Yanjing wouldn't be able to protect them. At this time, Ji Yuan looked at Chen Shang vigilantly, because he suddenly felt that Chen Shang was not simple either. You won't tell, will you? Ji Yuan's expression turned cold as he said coldly. Relax, I definitely won't say anything. How about I enter hundreds of flowers palace right now, and if I can see her, I'll see if I can talk to her. Of course, if you agree to give her a seed, she'll definitely agree to it so readily. Chen Shang said. Ji Yuan nodded his head, a strange light flashing past his eyes. Being caught by Chen Shang, he felt that Ji Yuan wanted to kill him to keep his mouth shut. Little brother, you seem to believe what I said very much. Do you believe that the seed is real? Ji Yuan smiled at Chen Shang. His expression had changed so quickly that even Chen Shang couldn't help but admire him. Of course I believe it. I have heard many stories since I was young, and I feel that it is true. Besides, doesn't Flower Emperor believe it too? Chen Shang laughed. I also want a seed. I wonder if Senior will be able to cut it. Ji Yuan laughed loudly. If I only had one seed, Flower Emperor would not give such high conditions. How about I give one to you, but you have to give me some things in exchange. I do not want the spiritual crystal. Did not believe that such a good thing would occur because he knew that Ji Yuan must have some plan in mind. He, Chen Shang, was not someone who was easy to deal with. Something precious from my body may not enter your eyes. Chen Shang shook his head and sighed. He planned to make the best of it, and at the same time make Long Shui pay attention to one point. Take it out for me to see. If it's something I urgently need, then it's very precious to me. Ji Yuan stretched out his hand and looked at Chen Shang with a smile. Chapter 1452, Chen Shang took out a fiery red bead that looked like a crystal ball emitting red light from within. It was extremely beautiful, and Ji Yuan immediately recognized what it was. The seed of the earth tree. Ji Yuan said in shock. Good eye. Chen Shang was sincerely impressed by Ji Yuan. He never thought that there would actually be someone who could recognize the seed of the earth tree. This seed was left behind by the super old fire beast when she gave it to him. If I'm not mistaken, the earth tree planted by this thing might be able to lead to a world full of flames. The flames of our 9 heaven worlds should all come from that world. Ji Yuan said. Chen Zhang's heart skipped a beat. If Ji Yuan didn't say it, he really wouldn't have thought of it in this way. It would be extremely difficult to go to the heaven realm. There were many different types of heaven realm, which was why it was called Endless Heaven Realm. Even now, it still provided all sorts of energy to maintain the 9 heaven worlds circulation. In any case, this is something of equal value. Chen Shang pretended to be excited as he said. Ji Yuan realized that Chen Shang was not a simple person. He took note of the fact, and shook his head. Even if we can go to that world where fire was created, the things that we can obtain from there will at most be of help to the people who cultivate fire. Furthermore, that place will definitely be very hot, and being able to go there is one thing. Chen Shang put away the earth tree and said dejectedly, so this thing was useless. Ji Yuan laughed. Both of us possess these seeds, and we even met each other, this is fate. Since I have 2, then I will trade them with you. Ji Yuan took out the jade box, took out a small golden seed and placed it on his palm. Chen Shang did not dare believe it. Of course he would be willing to trade the divine tree for it, because he could still use the creation divine liquid S to get them. He still had some of the earthly fruit S, flesh, but he needed a lot of them. He took out the tree trunk. Although his face was filled with joy and excitement, he was extremely vigilant. This was because this Ji Yuan gave people a feeling that it was hard to trust. Just as Chen Shang took out the tree out, he suddenly felt that he couldn't move anymore. Senior, you Chen Shang asked in shock. Ha ha Ji Yuan laughed. You know my secret, and have such a good thing too, do you think I will let you go? If I could kill you and take your thing, why would I use such a precious seed to exchange with you, naive brat? Ha ha Chen Shang also laughed out loud, which Ji Yuan did not understand. What are you laughing for? Ji Yuan frowned and asked. Your death is imminent. Chen Shang was still laughing loudly. Why don't you see if the seed in your hand is still there or not? The seed that was the size of a grain was in Ji Yuan's palm just now. After sealing Chen Zhang's dantian, he immediately clenched his fist. How did you take it? Ji Yuan's face suddenly changed, and became sinister. Chen Shang could feel that his dantian had been sealed, and immediately used the ability, spatial extraction. Ji Yuan did not have any defenses in this area, so Chen Shang could easily get his hands on it without Ji Yuan noticing. As for the seed of the divine tree in Chen Zhang's hand, he had also immediately stored it into the ring. His powerful divine power was not sealed, so he was a bit worried right now. If you want to die quickly, hand it over. Ji Yuan shouted sinisterly. A burst of innate chi burst out from his body. It was actually a immortal king, and a late-stage immortal king. Now, Chen Shang understood why his opponent would so easily seal his dantian. Ji Yuan was originally a strong ranker with a mysterious origin, he must have mastered many powerful sealing arts. It's better if you leave first. The seal on your body will take some time to unseal. You won't be able to beat him for the time being. Long Shui said as he transferred her power into Chen Zhang's body. Chen Shang used Long Shui's power, adding his own divine power, he used the power of the spatial laws. Ji Yuan had already pounced over, wanting to grab hold of Chen Shang, but Chen Shang teleported through space in that instant and disappeared within the private box. Little bastard, I will definitely catch you. Usually, he was the only one who deceived others, while others were the only ones who suffered losses at his hands. But today, he had met a powerful character, and what infuriated him the most was that the other party was still a guy weaker than him, yet he still suffered a huge loss. Chen Shang came to the outskirts of a field and laughed out loud. This old turtle, you failed to steal a chicken but ended up giving me rice, allowing me to earn big. Long Shui spent an entire day to unseal the seal for Chen Shang. That old turtle has some skills. If he had the power of the head disciple of the Fire Emperor, then that seal would be even harder to break. Long Shui said. Back then, when a few immortal becoming realm experts sealed you up, I only used a few days, but this guy spent an entire day. Chen Shang scratched his chin and said, where exactly does this old fellow come from? His brain should have a lot of powerful things. I really want to use the soul-absorbing devil spell on him. This old fellow doesn't look like a bad guy, I didn't think he would be so sinister. You don't look like a bad person either. Long Shui chuckled. Damn, I'm not a bad person. This time, he had to quickly enter the Hundreds of Flowers Palace. Not only would he need to find the Flower Emperor to ask him about the alive slain method, he also had to ask if the seed was real. He changed his appearance and turned into a short, skinny old man who looked like he was about to burp. He slowly walked past the entrance of the Hundreds of Flowers Palace and actually saw Ji Yuan, who was not at the main entrance but was sitting at the side of the street facing the main entrance. He was drinking tea as his hawk-like eyes stared at the people walking past the Hundreds of Flowers Palace. Chen Shang sighed in his heart. Looks like I can't use a proper way to enter Hundreds of Flowers Palace. I hope that Flower Emperor won't have too big of an opinion by then. Chen Shang was just passing by the Hundreds of Flowers Palace, but that Ji Yuan looked at him a few times, as if she had already noticed him. That old bastard is coming for you, Long Shui said. Chen Shang, who was walking very slowly, suddenly quickened his pace and rushed to a corner. He turned into a small bug and flew into a window. Seeing Chen Shang speed up his footsteps, Ji Yuan felt that there was a problem, and ran over in a moment, but Chen Shang had already disappeared. He actually ran away. Ji Yuan stomped his feet in anger. He never thought that the other party would be so cunning. At this time, a female disciple of the Hundreds of Flowers Palace walked to the door. Chen Shang immediately flew over, transformed into a strand of hair that floated onto the woman's shoulder, and followed the woman into the Hundreds of Flowers Palace. Chapter 1453. Just like the other big powers, the moment they managed to sneak in, the moment they were able to attack from the inside. That was why it was very strict when entering and leaving, and the Divine Artisan Mountain Villa was an example of that. After Chen Shang sneaked in, even the Immortal Meridians deep underground were destroyed. After Chen Shang entered, he floated into the air and became a bird. He flew inside the beautiful Hundreds of Flowers Palace, where there were many birds, so he was not afraid of exposing himself. There were male and female disciples in the outer sect. If there were male disciples with good aptitude, they could also receive special training and become the elites of the outer sect. In the future, they would be elders of the outer sect, but they were still not allowed to join the inner sect. Can men enter the inner sect? Chen Shang could already see a tall wall in the distance. That's fine, but generally, the men who can walk about here have very high statuses because the women in there are all very outstanding women. Su Meiyao said. That year, I almost joined the Hundreds of Flowers Palace, it was just that after some things happened, that's why I didn't go in. There isn't much change here. How nostalgic. Bai Yuyu sighed as he recalled his past. You'd better not enter the inner sect. If Flower Emperor finds out about your methods of entering the inner sect at will, he would definitely be unhappy. Su Meiyao said. It's fine, I went in to tell her that there are still many loopholes in their defenses. Although there are very few people like me, there are still others. This is also to prevent people like me from appearing. Chen Shang laughed. Because Mu Chenxiang was Flower Emperor's disciple, he did not have any enmity towards him. I wonder how that wild girl is doing here. She is the successor of the Sword Emperor, and her future is limitless. Furthermore, she is being nurtured by the Flower Emperor. Right, does the Flower Emperor have any other disciples? Chen Shang asked. No, I've never heard that she had a disciple before, maybe she made an exception and accepted Mu Chenxiang as her disciple. Bai Yuyu said. Chen Shang waited at the entrance of the inner sect for a period of time before he waited for the female immortal, Wang Lu. The girls inside were all very young, it was obvious that they had eaten a lot of face-preserving pills and the like when they were young. Therefore, even after many years had passed, they did not age at all. Just like last time, Chen Shang turned into a strand of hair and gently fell onto the body of the female immortal king, but she did not notice it. It's her. I never thought that she would become an immortal king. Back then, she was just a little girl that was in charge of receiving the guests. Su Meiyao said in shock as she recognized the woman. Chen Shang floated away from the woman, and came to a forest garden. He turned into a bird, and told Long Shui to look for Mu Chenxiang, and only by finding Mu Chenxiang would he be able to see Flower Emperor more easily. This inner court was not very big, and Long Shui's current divine power was very strong as well. She quickly found Mu Chenxiang. Not good, I've been discovered. Long Shui immediately recalled back his divine power, saying, so powerful, this Flower Emperor is growing very quickly, no wonder she got this title. Chen Shang turned into a bird and stood on the branch of a tree. Suddenly, he felt a strong pressure attack. She's here, she's actually able to find this place. She should have trained in the soul. Long Shui said in shock. Quickly run, or else she will definitely find out. Chen Shang immediately turned into a leaf and mixed with the other leaves, because if he turned into a bird, it would easily be seen. A normal bird would definitely fly away when they sense the pressure. Flower Emperor caught up to him, and in her jade hand was a long slender sword, it looked like a holy sword. She was barefooted, and stepped onto the clean grass, and was wearing a light green cheongsam. Her hair was tied up in a ponytail, her beautiful and cold noble jade face was filled with caution. The female disciples who were originally in the garden had already received her voice transmission and quickly left. The forest became very quiet, the birds had long flown away, and there was a gentle breeze blowing occasionally, causing a few leaves to fall. It looked very peaceful and comfortable, but here, the Flower Emperor was shrouded in a powerful aura that looked down upon the world. Chen Shang turned into a leaf and watched the Flower Emperor walk in step by step. She was secretly worried as she watched her jade-like feet tread on the fallen leaves. Come out, since you were able to enter my hundreds of flowers palaces inner sect, your strength should be pretty good. It would be best if you appear before any harm is done to my hundreds of flowers palace, at most, I will punish you. Flower Emperor said to the empty forest. Chen Shang was determined to see what ability the Flower Emperor had. Even if he was discovered by her, Chen Shang was not afraid of being captured. It's been many years. No one has dared to trespass into my territory. You're the first one. Flower Emperor's voice became much colder as she forcefully pulled open the skirt on her body, revealing a set of black clothes. Her long pants and short sleeves outlined her devilish figure. Seeing the Flower Emperor revealing his jade-like arms, Chen Shang was secretly shocked. It seemed like the appearance of the Flower Emperor was going to be real. He's coming, Long Shui shouted. Chen Shang felt a cold killing intent approaching him. The slender sword in Flower Emperor's hand had already pierced over. He anxiously changed to the sincere and benevolent form, shuttling through space to avoid the sword. Damn! Chen Shang came to the back of Flower Emperor, looked at the beautiful back view, and took a deep breath. Just now, he was almost pierced through by this woman's sword. It's you, Flower Emperor said, then turned his head, a little surprised. Chen Shang landed on the ground and laughed. I only wanted to see my sister, I have no ill intentions. Flower Emperor landed on the ground like a leaf. Her jade feet lightly tapped on the ground, but she did not put away the sword in her hands. For Chen Xiang's sake, I will spare your life, but you will have to accept my punishment. I will only use 3 moves, you can decide whether you want to live or die. The Flower Emperor said coldly, as he thrusted out his sword. Before Chen Shang could react, the tip of the sword had already touched his clothes. Stepping on the shrinking step, he quickly retreated backwards, wanting to dodge that sword strike. All hammer. Godly hammer suddenly appeared in Chen Zhang's hand. He used more than 80% of his strength to fiercely smash towards Flower Emperor's thin sword. Flower Emperor's jade-like hand trembled. She did not expect the black hammer to be so powerful. It had erupted with such a terrifying force that it could shake her wrist. Chen Shang firmly believed that his hammer could definitely shatter a gigantic mountain, but he could only let the Flower Emperor's slender sword undulate for a moment. However, he had broken through Flower Emperor's sword strike, because the sword attack's aura had already been destroyed by Chen Shang. HMPH. Flower Emperor let out a gentle snort, her figure flashed, and she actually disappeared soundlessly without any signs of life. To the left, Long Shui anxiously reminded. Chapter 1454. Flower Emperor did not use all her strength, she only looked very fierce. Seems like she just wanted to teach Chen Shang a lesson and make Chen Shang suffer a little. However, Chen Shang was not someone who was willing to lower his head. He immediately shuttled through space in an attempt to dodge the strike, but he did not expect that it would actually fail. The space here was extremely stable, and he immediately realized that he was in the Flower Emperor's power domain with his sword thrusting over. Chen Shang failed to travel through space, and he had already missed the chance to dodge because that was only for an instant. He only felt a slight pain from his left ribs, and then, his body floated up, and he was sent flying by that strong sword strike. Flower Emperor was a little shocked and startled. She never thought that her fine sword would not be able to pierce through Chen Zhang's body. In that instant just now, she could feel that Chen Zhang's body had a very strong armor she couldn't identify, but to be able to withstand the armor of her sword, it must be very strong. Chen Shang felt a sweetness in his throat, and almost vomited blood. The sword strike just now had caused the chi and filth in his body to constrict together, and if not for the fact that he had a strong physique and the profound Wu diamond armor, he would have been severely injured, as well as his internal organs. This woman is truly amazing. I didn't expect her strength to be so strong in the spirit realm. If he hadn't used the spatial teleportation, he might have been able to avoid it in other ways. At least, he wouldn't have received such heavy injuries. Chen Shang had indeed sustained some injuries earlier, but the Yulong blood S and the tiniest bit of phoenix blood within his body allowed him to quickly recover the injuries within his body. Seeing that Chen Shang had such a powerful armor, Flower Emperor was even more at ease with his attacks. With a swoosh, he gently swung his sword, looking extremely graceful and light, but in Chen Zhang's eyes, it was extremely terrifying, making him feel as if he was in hell. He never thought that the Flower Emperor would also be a sword expert. Just this one sword attack was already at the peak of perfection, the powerful sword force that shrouded over seemed to be able to crush him. It's over. Even Long Shui did not know how to dodge this strike. This was the Flower Emperor's power domain, no matter how she dodged, her sword would pursue you like a ghost. Chen Shang suddenly had an idea, he anxiously took out the divine furnace, causing the divine furnace to reverse and cover him from inside. Just as the Flower Emperor was about to hit Chen Shang, a huge cauldron suddenly appeared and covered Chen Shang, causing her to be secretly angered. Her sword had already slashed onto the hard and solid divine cauldron, releasing a dong sound, which shook the entire forest and caused Chen Shang to shrink the divine cauldron, running out from within. Just as Chen Shang was feeling pleased with himself, Flower Emperor appeared beside him in a flash and placed the sword on his neck. Flower Emperor, you said that there are only 3 moves, but I have already dissolved your 3 moves. You must keep your word. Chen Shang did not dare move, he could see that she was angry. Flower Emperor was just feeling very unhappy, because she did not force Chen Shang to use the powerful green dragon demon slain broadsword, nor did she force Chen Shang to use the heaven-earth killing method. These were the things that Chen Shang was most proficient in, but Chen Shang had actually used a broken iron hammer and a cauldron to fight against her, which made her extremely unconvinced. How did you get in? After all these years, there have been a lot of people who wanted to sneak in, but none of them succeeded. You have to tell me honestly, otherwise you won't be able to get out. Flower Emperor's face was cold as he asked. Chen Shang secretly felt that this Flower Emperor was a little stingy, he thought that the Flower Emperor was still worrying about the immortal sword. If not for his sudden appearance, the immortal sword might have been hers, and wouldn't have been snatched away by Duanming. Didn't you see? Then how did you know I was hiding there? Chen Shang asked curiously. He thought that the Flower Emperor would be able to see that he had become a leaf. I can feel that the plants here are all planted by me, and I have a subtle connection with you. Although I don't see you, I feel that you are there. She had originally wanted to cut Chen Zhang's skin and scare him, but who knew that Chen Zhang's skin was so thick and tough that she couldn't cut it even after she sawed it a few times. Speak, Flower Emperor asked. Chen Shang was in the wrong as he had trespassed into their territory without permission. It was considered good enough that the Flower Emperor did not kill him, it was normal for him to want to find loopholes. You have to keep it a secret. You can't let anyone else know. Otherwise, it won't work if I use this trick again. Chen Shang stared at Flower Emperor's beautiful face at close proximity without restraint. His greedy eyes made Flower Emperor feel extremely uncomfortable, because there were very few people who dared to look straight at her. Flower Emperor had long since heard that Chen Shang had exterminated Divine Artisan Mountain Villa alone. She knew that the array protection of Divine Artisan Mountain Villa was stronger than hers by no means. Alright, I won't tell anyone. Flower Emperor really wanted to know how Chen Shang sneaked in without making a sound and was even secretly probing for her. If it wasn't for her cultivating her soul and having a powerful divine sense, she might not even have discovered the power that was probing for her. If she was not in the hundreds of flowers palace, and someone else had snuck in like that, she would feel fear just thinking about it. Chen Shang moved her slender sword away a little and laughed. If you remove your power domain, I can demonstrate it to you. When Flower Emperor saw that Chen Shang was looking at her with his thief eyes, she glared at Chen Shang fiercely. However, her beautiful eyes still shot out 2 fierce glints, causing Chen Zhang's body to tremble and restrain himself a lot. She kept the slender sword well, and then retracted the power domain that she had released. Then, she looked at Chen Shang, and indicated that Chen Shang could begin. You want to run? The Flower Emperor saw that Chen Shang had not started, and a thin sword appeared in his hand. You are trespassing my territory. If not for Chen Xiang, you would have died long ago. If you did not let me know how you came in, I will not be polite. Chen Xiang clenched her teeth, and suddenly turned into a bird, hovering above Flower Emperor's head. Flower Emperor was stunned, causing Chen Xiang to land on her shoulder, but she did not chase him away. Soon after, Chen Xiang turned into a strand of hair that stuck to Flower Emperor's back. Finally, Chen Xiang turned back and stood in front of her. You should know by now, but this trick is useless against you, so you can definitely discover me, but the others will be hard to say. So I came in just like that, and although not many people know this method, it's best for you to think of a way to guard against the attacks that will fall on me in the future. Chen Shang suddenly became serious, and said, "Don't speak nonsense, I know this ability." Flower Emperor coldly snorted. "I didn't expect you to cultivate the way of the gods with the technique of change in Imperial Dragon race." Chen Shang laughed. "Same here, you should be cultivating the way of the gods too, but you are still a newbie. Do you want to learn the art of transformation?" "I don't want to," Flower Emperor answered very decisively. "Hee, even if you want to, I won't teach you." Chen Shang laughed mischievously. Chapter 1455. Flower Emperor did not deny that she had only just entered the divine way, and that it was because she had cultivated the divine way that her strength had risen greatly. "If you want to meet Chen Xiang, then come and find her in broad daylight, no need to be so sneaky." This was what the Flower Emperor was more dissatisfied about. She didn't want her territory to allow people in and out, and not only that, it was a man. "Actually, I don't want to use this method either. It's mainly because I've been targeted by an old guy, and that old guy is right at the entrance of your Hundreds of Flowers palace. Even if I change my appearance, he would recognize me, which is why I snuck in like this." Chen Shang had originally planned to sneak in and find Mu Chenxiang first, so that the Flower Emperor would think that it was Mu Chenxiang who let him in. He never thought that the Flower Emperor would be so powerful, to actually find out that Long Shui was using his soul to look at her. Flower Emperor immediately knew who the old fellow Chen Shang was talking about was. How did he get related to him? He is actually a very cunning old fox. But if you had offended him, he wouldn't watch you so closely. Flower Emperor brought Chen Shang and walked into the small forest, talking as they walked. "You know him?" Chen Shang was a little curious. He said that I don't know if that's his real name. "It's his real name. He came to the distant Archaeus region in the starry sky, and he's also very cunning. He can be considered a big liar." "It's his real name. He came to the distant Archaeus region in the starry sky, and he's very cunning. He can be considered a big liar, and many people have been deceived by him." The Flower Emperor replied, "He knows your identity. If he knew, it would be normal for him to have his eyes on you." Chen Shang scolded him, "This old turtle, I was almost tricked by him. Looks like the thing I got from him was fake." Flower Emperor stopped and asked anxiously, "What is it? Could it be that seed?" Chen Shang took out the golden rice and said unhappily, "It's this shitty thing. He said that as long as you grow it, you can go to a mystical world, and there are many precious spiritual medicines there. He also said that he came to find you, and you believed him, so I thought it was true." Flower Emperor's chest rose and fell as he took in a deep breath. "How did you get him from his hands?" Chen Shang was startled for a moment, then said, "This old fellow told me about this kind of thing. He was worried that I would leak it out, so he planned to kill me and silence me." Chen Shang explained the entire process in detail. When Flower Emperor heard it, he could not help but chuckle. "I never thought that this old liar would fall into your hands." The Flower Emperor had a smile on her face, making her look extremely enchanting, but Chen Shang did not dare look at her, as he was worried that her smile would disappear. Chen Shang said somewhat excitedly, "Sure, but it will take a while." The Flower Emperor also agreed that if she wanted to quickly become the emperor, she needed to obtain enough holy level medicine to level her up. "Here, don't lose it." Chen Shang passed such an expensive thing over. Such a gift meant that he did not have any ill feelings towards the Flower Emperor, and this was also because of Mu Chenxiang, which was something that the Flower Emperor understood. At this moment, the two were no longer as angry as they were before, and there were some things that could be discussed. The two of them started walking towards where Mu Chenxiang was. "Flower Emperor, tell me honestly, do you really have a live slain method?" Chen Shang asked. "I won't talk nonsense." The Flower Emperor hesitated for a moment, then sighed. "That's right, but you really talked too much in the Profound God Convention last time. Even though there are already some people who are suspicious, no one will say it in front of me. Too many people are staring at my heaven-earth killing method, so I can only divert their attention. Since you are so powerful, what are you afraid of?" Chen Shang giggled. "You want me to pass the alive slain method to you?" Flower Emperor asked. "No, I want to know how you obtained the alive slain method. I know that it's not easy to spread. The heaven-earth killing method that Chen Shang had previously learned could only be learned through those stone tablets." The Flower Emperor nodded his head. That's right, because I haven't learned much in myself, and have learned so many profound things in the alive-slain method, it is very difficult for me to pass on them to you, and this is also the reason why the heaven-earth killing method is so hard to pass on. I thought you already have a live-slain method. I heard that you have many high-level spirit medicines, and normally only a live-slain method can produce them. The Flower Emperor said. Not necessarily. The Taiji Dragon Suppressed Kung Fu also has these methods, but the speed is very slow, especially for those high-level herbs. Chen Shang said. Actually, his creation divine liquid was already very fast, but he thought it was too slow. The Dragon Cohesion Kung Fu inside the 4-phase magic Kung Fu has this kind of effect as well, it's very slow. I used to use the Dragon Cohesion Kung Fu in the past, the method in your Taiji Dragon Suppressed Kung Fu shouldn't be that much faster than it. She was very interested in this kind of thing. Although she did not refine pills, she liked to grow medicinal herbs, so she had a good relationship with some of the higher-leveled alchemists. There was no need for alchemists to help her refine pills. I can tell you where the alive-slain method is located. The location where the alive-slain method is recorded is similar to the beast-slain method, both are located on a cliff. It's just that that place is very dangerous, whether or not you can obtain it depends on your luck. Flower Emperor took out a map and handed it over to Chen Shang. Chen Shang did not think that Flower Emperor would agree so readily, and immediately thanked him. You have to promise me a condition. You should know the meaning of the alive-slain method, and you are also an alchemist. What condition? Flower Emperor looked straight into Chen Zhang's eyes, looking extremely serious. Tell me the conditions first. Chen Shang didn't dare to agree rashly. What if it was a trap? This condition is not necessary. If you really can obtain the alive-slain method, you must remember to help me get a divine sword. There's no time limit, I believe you have a way. Flower Emperor replied with a smile. No problem. Just as he had guessed before, the Flower Emperor was still brooding over the matters regarding the divine sword. Flower Emperor, you should have a name. Can you tell me? We are now partners. Chen Shang asked with a mischievous smile. There was still someone who directly asked for the Flower Emperor's name. In the past, people only called her Palace Mistress Hua or the 100 Flowers Fairy, and then the Flower Emperor, so very few people knew her name. Furthermore, she seemed to have deliberately concealed her name. Don't tell anyone. Flower Emperor lowered his voice and replied softly, LV Qilian. Chen Shang was immediately shocked. This reminded him of the Demon Empress LV Qinlian who was still in DTN. The two names were so similar, it was impossible for them to be unrelated. Chapter 1456. What is your relationship with LV Qinlian? Chen Shang asked anxiously. She is my junior. You are not allowed to speak of this matter to anyone else. My junior believes in you so much, so you must keep it a secret. LV Qilian said, I know that you have a pretty good relationship with this junior sister when she was in DTN. So you're also a Lotus Goblin. You are the spirit, I am a human, but I was adopted by the Grandma LV. Since you know that my junior sister who used poison is surnamed Lu, you should also know about the matters of the Grandma LV. LV Qilian rolled his eyes at Chen Shang in an extremely flirtatious manner. I've heard of it. Chen Shang should have already known that there was definitely someone very powerful behind the Flower Emperor. How powerful was he? It was said that he was only a little bit away from becoming the Demon Emperor, but he had gone missing, but her descendants had once defeated a Hall Master of the Devil-suppressing Divine Palace. So you also use poison? Chen Shang was a little curious. LV Qilian did not reply, because that mysterious Grandma LV was also known as the Poison Monarch. Since she was related to that Grandma LV, it was impossible for her to not use poison. Does Xiao Shang know about this? Chen Shang never thought that Mu Chenxiang's master was actually such a dangerous guy. Although it looked beautiful on the surface, he was actually a poison expert. Only you know. LV Qilian smiled at him, causing Chen Shang to feel a bit scared. You won't kill me in the future, right? Chen Shang purposely had a face full of fear, but his eyes were filled with laughter. No, you are a leader of the Dragon Subduing School. LV Qilian said with a deeper meaning. Chen Shang suddenly understood that the little demon Empress LV Qinlian who went to DTN earlier should have taken root there, and the Hundreds of Flowers Palace who stood behind LV Qinlian would definitely be this Hundreds of Flowers Palace. In the future, when DTN took shape, he who possessed the dragon bloodline would definitely be the best ally, and this woman would also take Mu Chenxiang as her disciple. Chen Shang suddenly had a feeling that he was being schemed against, and he also felt that this flower emperor in front of him was waiting for him to step into the spiderweb that she had weaved. The older the better, Chen Shang muttered. Of course, you're still too young. LV Kilian said with a smile that was not a smile. She could also tell that Chen Shang had guessed something. It's fine to work with me, but don't be delusional and step on me. Although I'm not as strong as you right now, it's hard to say in the future. Chen Shang was giving LV Kilian a warning not to think about capturing his dragon-subduing school. The same goes for you. LV Kilian laughed softly, it was a little cold. Chen Shang did not say anything. He wished that he could subdue these two martial sisters at his crotch. To think that he had schemed against her for such a long time. To think that he had been scheming against her, and treated LV Qinlian so well, and even gave her some strange poison. Don't say anything later, Chen Xiang doesn't need to know so many things. LV Kilian said in a low voice. Previously, Mu Chen Xiang and LV Kilian were training in the courtyard, but LV Kilian suddenly left for a long time, causing Mu Chen Xiang to become impatient, wanting to go out and see what was happening. Just as she wanted to go out, LV Kilian brought Chen Xiang to enter the courtyard. When Mu Chen Xiang saw Chen Xiang, he was extremely surprised and immediately flew over. Damn old bro, where have you been for the past 100 years? Mu Chen Xiang pounded on Chen Zhang's chest. Mu Chen Xiang looked even more wild than before. With just her disguise, she could easily engage in any kind of intense battle. Coming out of the forbidden grounds, after seeing the many different colored worlds, her charm had increased by a bit, but her face was still like a playful wild girl in Chen Zhang's eyes. I'm here, aren't I? Chen Shang laughed and pinched her beautiful face. We had originally planned to save Lu Meng'er at the wedding, but who knew that you would appear so quickly? That's why we didn't show ourselves. Back then, it was Lu Meng'er who had recommended her to see the Flower Emperor, and she also knew the relationship between Lu Meng'er and herself. Of course she had to help, since the relationship between the two of them was not bad, and she had a way to bring Lu Meng'er away. Brother, you are really rude. You made the Heaven Sword City look like that. You are so awesome, I like it. Mu Chen Xiang patted Chen Zhang's shoulder. If you want to do this next time, bring me along. Chen Shang laughed and looked at LV Kilian. In order for LV Kilian to save Lu Meng'er, he felt very grateful in his heart. I was also in danger back then. I almost got killed by that Fire Emperor. Chen Shang laughed. I almost did not. Didn't you escape with elder sister Meng'er? Mu Chen Xiang looked at LV Kilian, and laughed. If my master was like this in the future, would you help me save master like this? In the eyes of outsiders, Chen Shang risking his life to save Lu Meng'er was all because of Shui Shenxian. Of course, even if Chen Shang did not have that relationship with him, he would still do it for him. Of course, Chen Shang laughed and pinched her face, but this kind of thing will never happen. No one in this world can control the Flower Emperor's marriage, right? Of course, there aren't many men who can marry her. Mu Chen Xiang seemed to be telling her bad brother not to have any ideas about her master. Although Chen Shang only had a single wife, she knew very well how much malicious water Chen Shang had left in his stomach. Especially after all these years, she had found out that Chen Shang had a lot of rumors, all about him and the women by her side. You are now an immortal king and have the inheritance of the Fire Emperor. You might be able to become a female sword emperor in the future, and become even more powerful than me. Chen Shang laughed. That holy sword is still useful, right? I have a few more swords here, but they are all holy swords left behind by the evil emperor. Chen Shang took out the swords that he had stolen from Xie Kong and Xie Kong. One was black, and the other was blood red. It's better not to give this to her. If her heart isn't strong enough, she would be easily affected by evil emperor's evil sword intent. The Devil Slayer holy sword in her hand is already good enough. When LV Kilian saw the two evil holy sword, he could not help but frown. Mistress, there is someone outside seeking an audience. Ji Yuan has invited a big shot. He said that he has urgent matters to meet you. I have already invited that big shot to the guest hall. A voice suddenly rang out from outside. A seat had been taken away by Chen Shang, and Ji Yuan was worried that Chen Shang had already seen him, and was afraid that he would beat him to it. Helpless, he could only invite an important figure from the ancient Starry Sky region to find out if Chen Shang had met with him yet. Got it, I'm going out now. LV Kilian replied and then sent a sound transmission to Chen Shang, leave this place quickly. That person should be from the Archaeus region of the Starry Sky. Xiaoshang, bring your brother and use the transmission array to leave. Someone come find him, LV Kilian said. Chapter 1457. Chen Shang really wanted to stay and see what kind of big shot Ji Yuan had invited. However, when he saw LV Kilian's expression, he knew that he had to leave Hundreds of Flowers Palace. She and Chen Shang were secretly working together, but she didn't want the other forces to know about it, in order to not attract any unnecessary trouble to her. Mu Chenxiang pulled Chen Shang along and quickly walked to an underground stone room. Brother, you have to be careful. You've been missing for 100 years, I'm very worried about you. Mu Chenxiang hugged Chen Shang and kissed him on the cheek. Chen Shang laughed, and caressed her face. Those guys can't do anything to me, you better take care of yourself. When Chen Shang stepped into the transmission array, Mu Chenxiang was still a little reluctant. She bit her lips and watched Chen Shang disappear into the transmission array. Arriving at a place with no one around, Chen Shang opened the map that LV Kilian had given him. Although it was a dangerous place, he had been to the most dangerous forbidden sacred beast's ancient realm before. Furthermore, he was now an immortal king, so he dared to go to that place. This map seems a bit crappy. I don't even know where it is. Chen Shang looked at the map. Although the description was extremely detailed, it was only a small area. It was 9 days big, he could not tell where the area described on the map was, and there were no hints at all. Seriously, do you want me to go back? Chen Shang felt very troubled. The map he took to the sacred beast's ancient realm previously gave him a headache. Sister Meiyao, where are you? Chen Shang asked. It looks familiar, but it's impossible. Su Meiyao wasn't too sure. This map is very new, it should have been drawn not long ago. Could it be that Flower Emperor already allowed you to go and find her? That's why I gave this map to you. Bai Yu said. They do look familiar, the places drawn on them are very similar to the 100 Flowers mountain range in this main palace. The alive slain method is right here. Chen Shang was in disbelief. Let's go check it out first. That place is dangerous. It's not dangerous, but that was the place where the Hundreds of Flowers Palace grew the herbs. I don't know why it became abandoned in the end. Su Meiyao was also very suspicious. After that, that place wasn't dangerous either. Flower Emperor did warn you before, that place is very dangerous. Chen Shang returned to the busy city and bought a book. There were many maps drawn on it, all of them being the main palaces of the 100 Flowers Immortal Palace. He compared it with the map and confirmed that it really was the 100 Flowers mountain range. So close. After Chen Shang confirmed the news, he immediately headed towards the 100 Flowers mountain range. Because the 100 Flowers mountain range was within this immortal palace, it was very safe and there wouldn't be any demonic beasts there. In an immortal palace, there would be no danger. This was because the people who entered this immortal palace were there for the sake of safety. Chen Shang followed the map and displayed shrinking step in the air. Stepping in the air, he rushed into the high altitude of the mountain and rushed towards the red dot on the map. There isn't a cliff here either. Could it be that the woman was the one who teased me? She's too bored. Chen Shang had already arrived at the top of the mountain. Looking down from high altitudes, he only saw a few abandoned buildings, and the marked point was at the top of a mountain. When Chen Shang came here, he also discovered a strange phenomenon. It was that the immortal energy here was extremely sparse. Logically speaking, the immortal energy in a palace should be relatively dense. Even the immortal energy in the wasteland would be much denser than here, let alone the fact that there were many sky-high trees here. Chen Shang landed on top of that mountain peak. There was a small hut and a small courtyard that was casually surrounded. There was actually someone living here. Chen Shang immediately understood that LV Qinlian had asked him to come here to find someone. Chen Shang wanted to knock on the door, but the door opened. A good-looking old lady in a black robe, holding onto a white jade staff, slowly walked out. This old granny had a head of white hair neatly combed and wore an old hair ornament. Her skin was like jade and well-maintained. There were only a few wrinkles at the corners of her eyes, making her look a little old. However, she looked very energetic. The white jade staff in her hand was extremely beautiful. At the top of the long staff was a lifelike rabbit. The white jade staff was surrounded by white mist, and it seemed to possess a life of its own. "Is there something you need from me?" the old granny asked softly. Her voice was very soft and did not carry any dignity. Although she did not smile, she gave people a kind feeling. "Flower Emperor gave me a map, and then I arrived here." Chen Shang took out the map. He was very curious about the identity of this old granny, and she seemed to be a very strong person. However, he and Long Shui were not able to feel the energy fluctuations from her body, as though she was immortal. Chen Shang passed the map over. When the old granny reached out to receive it, her withered hand suddenly trembled. In that instant, Chen Shang also felt something drilling into his body, but it quickly disappeared from the inside of his body. Chen Shang suddenly retracted his hands, and retreated a few steps, his face full of vigilance. "What did you do to me?" Chen Shang frowned and asked. There was a trace of anger in his tone. His body had an extremely strong defense, but that indescribable energy could easily enter his body. "You are actually the descendant of the devil-suppressing heavenly Venerable. I didn't think that after the devil-suppressing heavenly Venerable, there would be someone who can cultivate the demon-suppressing body. I just used some poison to confirm that you are completely fine right now, it's all because of the devil-suppressing golden body." Chen Shang frowned. "You are the legendary Grandma LV. Grandma LV was slightly surprised as she said, "You know quite a lot. Kilian asked you to come find me because she wants me to tell you where the alive slain method is hidden. Normally, only people that she trusts will do so. What relationship do you have with her? Are you her man? But that's not right. Your strength is far inferior to hers. She shouldn't be looking for a man weaker than her for a husband. Can't you just ask her directly?" Chen Shang was getting impatient. He was facing a genuine old wicked woman, he just wanted to leave this place quickly. "No, I can't leave here, and she can't come in here and talk to me." Grandma LV laughed out loud. "I lost the bet with her, so I have to do as she says. Young lad, don't be afraid. You have the devil-suppressing golden body." Chen Shang was originally not very afraid of her, but when she said that, he actually started to be afraid. "Grandma LV, you know where the alive slain method is. Hurry up and tell me, I'm anxiously looking for it." Chen Shang forced a smile. "Hee, if you don't tell me what your relationship is with that girl, then I won't tell you." The Grandma LV smiled mischievously as he sat on a stone bench. Chapter 1458. My sister is her disciple. Chen Shang said. "Oh, she won't accept any disciples. She said that not many people are qualified to be her disciple, so why would she take a fancy to your sister?" Grandma LV was shocked, she did not know what was happening outside. "Because my sister has obtained the Sword Emperor's inheritance." Chen Shang said again, for the outside world, this matter was no longer a secret. "I never would have thought that even the Sword Emperor's legacy would appear. If that's really the case, then your sister is indeed qualified to become her disciple." The Grandma LV nodded, then patted on a stone stool beside him, gesturing for Chen Shang to come over and sit. Chen Shang carefully walked over and sat down. Seeing his frightened look, the Grandma LV laughed. "I say, what are you afraid of? You have the devil-suppressing golden body, so you won't die. Even though there's poison everywhere, like on this stone bench, there's a layer of 5 incense bone-dissolving flour. Also, the dirt under your feet was watered by the purple blood centipede all year round. That's why it grew such beautiful purple flowers." The Grandma LV caressed the purple-colored flower. Chen Shang shuddered and asked, "If I didn't have devil-suppressing golden body, then I would have died a long time ago." Grandma LV smiled and nodded. "She has already turned into blood and became nourishment for my little garden. That big girl should have let you come here because she knows that you have cultivated the devil-suppressing golden body, otherwise she would have harmed you." "Did she know that you have the devil-suppressing golden body?" LV Kilian of course knew that his having a devil-suppressing golden body was no longer a secret. "Got it." Chen Shang took in a deep breath and smelled a fragrance. It was a snow-white flower in the distance, and that flower was actually shaking slightly, as if it was trying to recruit him. "Even if your sister is her disciple, she shouldn't have let you come find me. There's another reason." It was as if the Grandma LV had never talked to anyone for thousands of years, as he kept on asking. So long-winded, Chen Shang thought. There is a big secret between her and I. Initially, I had an agreement with her not to tell others, but since she told me to come find you, I believe that with your personality, she will definitely dig out everything about me and her. Chen Shang was also somewhat resentful towards LV Kilian because she didn't tell him beforehand to come here and find the Grandma LV. Even though his impenetrable made him uncomfortable here. "I got a seed." Chen Shang told the Grandma LV about the mysterious seed. "So that's how it is. I've long since heard of the legend of this sort of child. I never imagined that he really was in the Archaeus region." Grandma LV was very interested in this matter. "Grandma LV, why are you here?" The 100 Flowers Emperor was raised by you, and she won a bet to trap you here. Isn't that a little too heartless? Chen Shang was purely curious. If she didn't let me stay here, I would have killed your devil-suppressing divine palace long ago. I have my enmity with her. Grandma LV looked at Chen Shang with a smile that was not a smile. That girl is so arrogant and her heart is cold. I never thought that she would actually agree to let me tell you the location of the alive slain method. You are still devil-suppressing divine palace. Chen Shang was worried that the Grandma LV would have killing intent, and anxiously said, I am not from devil-suppressing divine palace, I also have enmity with the devil-suppressing divine palace. If you old man can destroy the devil-suppressing divine palace, I will give you a big gift. Oh, how interesting, a kid who cultivated to become a devil-suppressing golden body actually has a grudge with him. Grandma LV said as his eyes lit up. Maybe I was fated with the devil-suppressing heavenly venerable, and in the end, I obtained the holy devil-suppressing seal. But those old guys in the devil-suppressing divine palace didn't recognize me, and even tried to steal my holy devil-suppressing seal. To be honest, I don't want to become the devil-suppressing divine palace at all. I only kept the holy devil-suppressing seal for self-defense. That thing is really powerful. Chen Shang heaved a long sigh. Those old turtles in devil-suppressing divine palace, they look for trouble with me every day. I have also killed a few of their immortal kings before, and a few of them had also done the same thing. Devil-suppressing heavenly venerables devil-suppressing divine palace was destroyed by them like this. Boy, I think highly of you. I can't touch devil-suppressing divine palace right now, but you can. The Grandma LV suddenly laughed sinisterly. This girl Kilian, knowing that I'm bored here, she specially sent you here to relieve my boredom. Chen Shang was unhappy again, because he had been tricked by LV Kilian. He realized that it was indeed the case, because only someone who had cultivated into the devil-suppressing golden body could come to this place. Once in a while, the devil-suppressing divine palace will hold a competition to test the Lord of Demon-suppressing Hall. Anyone who cultivates in the devil-suppressing method can participate in it, so of course you can too. As long as you complete those tests, you can become the Lord of the devil-suppressing divine palace. The Grandma LV said. Don't you have many palace masters? Only the head palace masters should have them. Chen Shang said. Yes, so if you want to become the head palace master, you still need to challenge 2 divine palace protectors and you need to win streak. After that, even if you can't win against the head palace master, you have a certain position in the devil-suppressing divine palace. The Grandma LV said. What's the use of that? I don't care about that position. Chen Shang said. He was a leader of the dragon subduing school. Little idiot, of course I know that that position is useless, but if you can reach that step, the holy devil-suppressing seal in your hands will be useful. The devil-suppressing heavenly venerable has left something inside the devil-suppressing divine palace, and it needs a holy devil-suppressing seal to open it. The Grandma LV slapped his head, but Chen Shang didn't know what poison was added to it, causing him to feel cold. Alright, then I'll go get the alive slain method first. Chen Shang said. You should first get the items from the devil-suppressing heavenly venerable. This way, it would be much easier for you to get the alive slain method. Grandma LV said. To tell you the truth, other than Kilian, don't even think about easily obtaining the alive slain method. Why? Chen Shang was puzzled. Isn't she trying to trick me? Didn't she tell you that getting the alive slain method is very dangerous? Grandma LV said. Although this girl has a lot of eyes, she is not bad, especially for our own people. Seeing Chen Zhang's face full of suspicion, she said in a low voice, Kilian is devil-suppressing heavenly venerable's granddaughter, and the alive slain method was hidden by devil-suppressing heavenly venerable, so she can get it, but if others were to go, they would definitely die. It's true, Flower Emperor is actually the daughter of devil-suppressing heavenly venerable. Chen Shang was in disbelief. Hee, actually, I am her mother and she is my daughter with devil-suppressing heavenly venerable. Grandma LV's words shocked Chen Shang even more. I don't believe you. You are devil-suppressing heavenly venerable's wife. Why do you still have to destroy devil-suppressing divine palace? Chen Shang remembered that this Grandma LV had quite a huge enmity with her. Chapter 1459. Because devil-suppressing divine palace is no longer the original devil-suppressing divine palace, and this old geezer, devil-suppressing heavenly venerable, has gone somewhere. In order to prevent devil-suppressing divine palace from making mistakes again and again, I can only eliminate him, but that is the blood and sweat of the devil-suppressing heavenly venerable, and there might be some clues left behind by the devil-suppressing heavenly venerable inside, so Kilian did not permit me to make a move. The Grandma LV said. In other words, the reason Emperor Hua asked me to come here is to ask me to help him find his father. Only now did Chen Shang know LV Kilian's final goal. I guess so, but you can still get a live slain method right? The Grandma LV laughed. Chen Shang decided that he must not play any more games with LV Kilian, maybe he would even help her count the money after she sold him. Now that he was tricked, he finally understood why LV Kilian agreed so readily. She had already calculated that the Grandma LV would tell him about the Holy Devil Suppressing Seal, and that it would also tell him that the Devil Suppressing Heavenly Venerable was her father's matter. Then what about LV Qinlian? Chen Shang asked. Oh, you also know this little lotus. I heard that she went to DTN. I haven't seen her for a long time. Grandma LV replied, she can be considered my adopted daughter. I have always treated her like my own daughter. I hope that she will be safe in DTN. Don't worry, she's having a good time there. Chen Shang suddenly felt that this Grandma LV was a little pitiful. I'm from DTN. That's good. I never would have thought that you even knew the names of these sisters. You shouldn't be simple, otherwise I wouldn't have let them treat you like this. The Grandma LV smiled meaningfully. Bai Yuyu suddenly said, Chen Shang, help me ask if my sister has been here to find her. Grandma LV, have you seen a woman with a ponytail, blue eyes, and a poisonous hook? Chen Shang asked. She uses poison too. You're talking about the Violet Scorpion Princess. When I was not here, I heard that she was a good seedling. She has never been here before. The Grandma LV shook his head. If she wants to come, are you going to welcome her? She's in a very bad situation right now, and she's being hunted everywhere because she uses magical corruption gas to kill people, and she's also the one who killed people from the devil-suppressing divine palace. Chen Shang said. Bai Yuyu had said that he would look for the Grandma LV in the past. Oh, the Grandma LV was very surprised. She can actually get hold of the magical corruption gas and control it to kill people, this must be properly nurtured. If you can find her, then let her come here. Chen Shang smiled and nodded. Definitely, I will get her to come here as soon as possible. The Grandma LV sighed. The current situation in Devil Suppressing Divine Palace is not good. My husband established the Devil Suppressing Divine Palace to inherit the technique to rid the demons and also to deal with the demons and devils in that place. That place, is it the Night Devil Hell? Chen Shang immediately guessed the hell that had always made him uneasy, as there were many strong demons inside. Not just there. Alright, quickly go to Devil Suppressing Divine Palace and take a look, don't miss it, otherwise you'll have to wait a long time. The Grandma LV urged. Alright, then I'll take my leave. Chen Shang leapt into the air, then stepped on the shrinking step as he flew through the air. The shrinking step, huh? This little brat obtained the inheritance of the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord and has stayed here for too long. I don't even know if such a fellow appeared in the 9 heavens. Grandma LV muttered as he looked in the direction Chen Shang disappeared in. Chen Shang came to the demon-suppressing palace. When he came here, he did not even need to ask around to know about the palace mistress assessment. This is to absorb all the talents that cultivate the devil-suppressing method, because a lot of the devil-suppressing divine palace's techniques were spread out. It started after 5 days. No wonder LV Kilian was in a hurry to chase me away, she was just afraid that I would miss out. What the hell, when she saw me in the Hundreds of Flowers Palace, she started to plan. First she wanted to test my strength, then she quickly gave me the map and let me find the Grandma LV. Then the Grandma LV told me some things, telling me to come here to become Hall Master, and finally she helped her find her father. Chen Shang gnashed his teeth. I really want to take this woman in as a female slave and fiercely press her onto the bed. Heh, he actually tricked me. I am the devil-suppressing heavenly venerable, and I am the Grandma LV of the 9 heavens. Furthermore, I have just received the Sword Emperor's legacy as her disciple, it is possible that I will become the Sword Emperor in the future. Long Shui laughed. Xiao Shang is my sister, so of course she would help me. Chen Shang walked on the street and prepared to register. She will help brother scoundrel kill his own master. Long Shui giggled. Don't even think about it, even if you become the great emperor in the future, she's still very strong, alright. Aren't you Heavenly Dragon Supreme Lord? Don't tell me you won't help me. Chen Shang snorted. You can be considered my man. Little scoundrel, you better think about it. Don't do it. Su Meiyao laughed. Flower Emperor is not easy to mess with, and she's also not bad. Even though she was scheming against you, she was helping you, and these are all things that are good for you. Bai Yuyu said. Chen Shang snorted. If she had told me directly, I definitely wouldn't have rejected her, but she insisted on playing tricks and showing me her little tricks, which made me very unhappy. I would confide in her, even put the seed in her, gave her such trust, and even gave her sister the strange poison, but she played with me, not putting me in her eyes at all. Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu both had a bad premonition, because they rarely saw Chen Shang like this, but when they thought about it again, they felt that Flower Emperor was being a little too excessive. Chen Shang was indeed very sincere, but Flower Emperor's clever actions made Chen Shang feel disgusted, since Chen Shang did not like being led around the nose in the first place. On behalf of Xiao Shang, I will not retaliate for now, but if she does that a few more times I will play with her until the end. No matter what, I am still a leader of the dragon subduing school, so I don't know how to scheme. Chen Shang said very seriously. It was just that he was not on guard against the Flower Emperor, which was why he was like this. The Flower Emperor was very confident, she thought that Chen Shang would not complain. She thought that Chen Shang would definitely listen to her, and maybe even praise her for her intelligence. However, she did not know what kind of person Chen Shang was. I want to sign up to participate in the Palace Master Assessment and Selection. Chen Shang came to the registration counter and shouted loudly. Your name? Seeing that Chen Shang was energetic, the old man secretly nodded. My name is Hundreds of Flowers Heavenly Emperor. Said angrily, the others did not know why he was so angry. Others might have only heard of the 100 Flowers Emperor, but that was the future title of the Flower Emperor, and this Hundreds of Flowers Heavenly Emperor sounded even more powerful than the 100 Flowers Emperor. Is it a name? The old man was stunned for a moment before he asked. I don't have a name, only a name. I don't have a name, only a name. Chen Shang said arrogantly. After staying with Long Shuiyi for so long, their ability to brag was definitely not weak. Chapter 1460. Chen Shang looked around, and seeing that everyone's gaze was different, he said, you don't have a rule that requires you to use a name, right? No, using a name is fine, but if you are able to become a hall master, then you must have a name, submit your name and pay the registration fee. With 1,000,000 spiritual crystal, you can then go over and receive the assessment of the Immortal King's strength. The old man said. Chen Shang secretly despised this devil-suppressing divine palace. Why did he not test his strength first before paying the registration fee? If he did not pass the test, then the registration fee of 1,000,000 spiritual crystal would have gone down the drain. What's that test about? Chen Shang looked at the place that the old man had pointed to just now. There was a contest ring there, and on top of it stood an ice-cold young man. If you want to become the hall master of our devil-suppressing divine palace, you must have the strength of an immortal king. Of course, not any random immortal king would be able to accomplish that. The old man said. There were many palace masters in devil-suppressing divine palace, because all of the 9 heavens had their own branch palaces which required a strong immortal king to oversee them. Chen Shang handed over 1,000,000 spiritual crystal, obtained a jade tablet, and then walked towards the dueling platform. Only the immortal king would take the test, and the number of immortal kings was very few. Even though there weren't many people in this hall, there weren't many who wanted to register, they were all here to enjoy the show. Chen Shang walked to the contest ring. The person in front of him was a youth with an ice-cold face, his arms crossed over his chest as if he was extremely powerful. He only stood there and looked at Chen Shang indifferently. Hundreds of Flowers Heavenly Emperor, don't you think this title is stupid? The young man looked at Chen Zhang's jade tablet and mocked. From the looks of it, although you are an immortal king, it will not be easy for you to pass my test. Prepare your heart for heavy injuries. Chen Shang saw that the other party was so arrogant, he did not want to be outdone, and said, no matter how stupid your title is, that's my problem, it's none of your business, you just have to do your own thing. With your current state, not to mention seriously injuring me, it's already not bad that you can even take a strand of my hair off. An old man below the stage couldn't help but take a deep breath. This guy is crazy. Doesn't he know that the person he is facing is the strongest out of the 4 little immortal kings in devil-suppressing divine palace? So he's actually the strongest one among the 4 little fairy kings. It's said that he's the one ranked first amongst the 4 strongest young immortal kings in devil-suppressing divine palace, called Zhao Zhen. I heard that he's reached the 9th level of devil-subduing method. This guy is Zhao Zhen. The last time he went to Mo Tian, he made the demons there fear him for a few days. When Chen Shang heard everyone talking about Zhao Zhen, he finally understood that this guy in charge of testing strength had some true abilities. When Zhao Zhen heard others talking about him, he raised his head even higher. That kind of flattery made him extremely proud, and the gaze with which he looked at Chen Shang was even more disdainful. When sparring, use the techniques related to the devil-suppressing divine palace. You cannot use weapons. An old man shouted, "Let's begin." Zhao Zhen felt that this fellow was an arrogant guy who didn't know his limits. He wanted to give him a good beating as well, but he actually said such arrogant words. "I'll knock you down with one move." When Zhao Zhen saw that the competition stage's great array had been opened, the devil-suppressing holy power on his body flourished and surged out in a visible manner, looking like a golden flame that jumped all over his body. Although the devil-suppressing divine palace had declined, his foundation was still there. As the strongest cultivator in the young generation of the devil-suppressing divine palace, Chen Shang would only find it strange if he was not able to cultivate the devil-suppressing holy power. Crack A series of 5 thunderous booms came out. It was actually the power of the 5th level of devil-subduing method. Using the explosive power of the 5th floor of the devil-subduing method, Zhao Zhen allowed his body to instantly appear in front of Chen Shang as he swung out a fist. For many people, using devil-suppressing holy power and devil-subduing method level 5 from the very beginning was a very terrifying attack. If the opponent was a demon king or demon king, they would definitely have to lie down. Just when everyone thought that Chen Shang was a little pitiful, another burst of thunderclaps rang out. It was urgent and fast, unexpectedly 9 times in a row. Chen Shang was also using devil-subduing method, but he was still level 9. And it looked like he had used it very skillfully. Ha ha! Chen Shang laughed out wildly, and threw a fist at him. He was taller, and his arm was also a little longer than Zhao Zhen's. Zhao Zhen's fist had only stopped right in front of Chen Zhang's nose because Chen Zhang's fist with lightning speed had already smashed into his eyes. Boom! First, Chen Shang was at the 9th level of the devil-subduing method, then, he unleashed his energy to attack Zhao Zhen's left eye, which also created an extremely strong suction force to prevent Zhao Zhen from flying out. Clap clap A! Chen Shang waved both of his palms, and instantly, dozens of palms flew out, hitting Zhao Zhen hard and fast. The last palm was especially strong and directly sent Zhao Zhen flying. Zhao Zhen laid on the stage, moaning softly, his heart was filled with rage, he covered one eye and slowly stood up. Chen Shang did not use that unscrupulous Holy Spirit Qi, he only used his physical body, if not Zhao Zhen would have turned into ashes. Are you sure you can't do it? If you can't, then go up and fight me with a stronger opponent. With your little strength, I'm really worried that I'll beat you to death if you're not careful. I can't even let go of your hands and feet. Chen Shang crossed his hands on his waist, and arrogantly shouted. Everyone was still immersed in the scene just now. When they thought back to it, they were secretly shocked. Chen Shang was just like an adult grabbing a naughty kid and beating them fiercely. He had the power to beat the opponent to death, but was worried that he would be held accountable, so he did not use his strongest power. I'll kill you! The furious Zhao Zhen almost roared as he rushed over. HMPH! Chen Shang stomped his foot, and a gold light flashed beneath his feet, a golden light slashed across the ground like lightning, and turned into a golden circular array beneath Zhao Zhen's feet, preventing him from moving. Seeing those runes, everyone immediately knew that it was devil-suppressing divine palaces, devil-suppressing Qi array. Chen Shang had only stomped his feet on the ground and released a demon sealing array, so he was very familiar with it. Of course, Zhao Zhen knew the power of the demon sealing Qi formation. It was something that would be rather difficult to release in the devil-suppressing Qi array, and would require a lot of devil-suppressing holy power. Once released, it would be able to trap the Demon King for a period of time. Chen Shang took 2 steps forward to the front of Zhao Zhen, and after a few more thunderous booms, Chen Shang unleashed devil-subduing method level 9, throwing a punch towards Zhao Zhen's other eye. With a boom, Zhao Zhen's other eye was violently punched by Chen Shang. At this moment, he only felt his vision blur, his eyes were already swollen from being hit by Chen Shang, and looked extremely comical. Stop! An old man anxiously shouted. If this continued, Chen Shang would definitely destroy that Zhao Zhen, and Chen Zhang's use of the devil-suppressing method was truly shocking, his familiarity level was already higher than many of the devil-suppressing divine palace's old immortal kings.